Trying to score from the plug today, I sure could use a shot. Xannies are helping, but I need more. Guess I'll smoke some pot. I'm about to go insane. Sometimes I need to go where everybody does cocaine. And we always find a vein. I wanna fix and do some blow. The troubles will go away. I wanna be where everybody does cocaine. You shoot your dope, I'll smoke some crack. Junkies are all the same. I wanna be where everybody does cocaine.
Time for Dopey.
And I'm gonna sing a song for you.
Damn Chris gonna show you a thing or two.
You'll have some fun now with me and all the gang, learning from each other while we do our thing. Na, 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 gonna have a good time. Hey, hey. Na, 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 gonna have a good time.
Daily Chris coming at you with music and fun. And if you're not careful, you might learn something before it's done.
Hey, hey, hey!
This episode of Dopey is brought to you by our very good friends at Oro Recovery. It's located in sunny Southern California. It was started by Bob Forrest and his friends Evan, Jared, and Bob. It's a place where addicts and alcoholics go to receive treatment rooted in compassion and connection and not in control. I have a friend who just went back to Oro, and it really helped him out. Everyone that I know who has been there only says really, really good things, which is the most important recommendation, besides the fact that Newsweek rated it top 5 and all sorts of, powers that be consider it to be great. The people I know that have been there consider it to be great. So that's a huge recommendation. They also have amenities you wouldn't believe. Sound bath meditation, equine therapy, surfing, the potentially spiritually transformative sweat lodge. If you're fucked and you want to get healthy, go to sunny Southern California and check out Oro Recovery. Check them out at ororecovery.com. This episode of Dopey is also brought to you by our very good friends at Sober Buddy. What is Sober Buddy? Sober Buddy is an app. Sober Buddy is a platform. Sober Buddy is a community. It's all of those things and it's more. And I say that with complete certainty because I am on the Sober Buddy team. And Sober Buddy does Zooms every week, 12 of them. And I do one on Wednesdays, and I see people get better, and I see people connect, and I see people have fun. They also have an app where it's like a social media style thing where everyone is in it to help each other out in their recovery. Whether you are deep in your recovery, if you're just curious, or if you're just struggling in the beginning. Check them out at yoursoberbuddy.com. They're available on the App Store and the Google Play Store. There is a 30-day free trial, so definitely check that out. This episode of Dopey is also brought to you by our very good friends at Evolution Accounting and Consulting. It is an incredible accounting and consulting firm. They basically help entrepreneurs run their business, and they handle all the rest. If you're an entrepreneur and you love doing business stuff and you love creating, create. Let Evolution Accounting and Consulting take care of your taxes, your payroll. It was started by our friend Eric, who is also a fucking crackhead, but thank God Eric is in recovery, so he knows the struggle as well as the success. Use the promo code DOPEY when you connect with them at www.evolution-accounting.com, and you will get special discounts. If you fucked up your taxes, go to www.evolution-accounting.com, and Eric will help. This episode of Dopey is also brought to you by our very good friends at the Phoenix. Phoenix is incredible. It is a free app. It's available on your phone. Just go to the Phoenix on the App Store or the Google Play Store. They are creating a movement that uses the power of community and belonging to change how society looks at addiction and recovery. It is free. It is a sober, active community. They set up gym stuff, hikes, CrossFit, pickleball. The stuff we did in New Orleans was a Phoenix event. They are vested in music and art and culture. The only cost of attendance is 48 hours of sobriety. That is it. I love the Phoenix. Check them out at thephoenix.org/findaclass or at thephoenix.org/movement. The Phoenix is an amazing resource. You should definitely use it, especially if you want to have fun in your recovery. thephoenix.org/movement. One more before we get into the show, and that is there's a podcast I want to recommend. It is called Recovery in the Middle Ages. It was created by my friend Nat. It is Nat and Mike on issues all around addiction and recovery, from 12-step to the newest Annie Grace book to Dopey. I've been on Recovery in the Middle Ages a few times, and I had an amazing time. I've revealed stuff I've never revealed anywhere else. Check them out at recoveryinthemiddleages.com. It's available wherever you get your podcasts. Recovery in the Middle Ages. That's enough with the ads for now. Here is the fucking show. Hello, and welcome to Dopey, the podcast on drugs, addiction, and other dumb shit. And before we get into the show, I'm very happy to be here. I hope everybody is doing well. It is another day in the Dopey Odyssey, and I'm just happy to be a part of it. And before we get into the show, I just want to say that if you listen to the music at the beginning of the show this week, that Cheers version was Dopey producer Sam doing Cheers, and whenever I hear it, I get a very, very sentimental place in my heart and my mind for Sam. So big shout out to Sam wherever he is. No, Sam is in Hawaii and he's doing his thing. So big shout out to Sam. And then, of course, John Takeif did the Fat Albert. So big shout out to John Takeif. And that's enough shout outs for now. Also, shout out to Fentanyl J. Shout out to the Dopey Nation. There's a huge development in the Fentanyl J story, but we're going to wait till next week to go into that. So make sure you tune in next week. All right.
Wait, so what do you do?
How many of you guys are basketball fans out there? And I know that the Dopey fans out there know how invested I am in the New York Knicks. They were down 3-1, and then they won the other day. Hold on. And I'll also do the vape knock for anybody who needs a little knocky. Little vape knock for the knockers. So I am beyond excited because tonight is game 6. And I'm also very scared because the Knicks play the Heat. And if the Heat win, the Knicks season is over. And I addressed this on a Patreon episode with my dad, but I meant to address it on the show. So I'm going to address it right now because I have to. This was Kevin Lick posting in Dopey Nation. He said, okay, so I'm listening to the new episode at work, but as soon as I got to the top of this cell tower, I had to stop and write this post before it slips my mind. Here's a picture of Chicago from the top of the tower I'm at. And it's a beautiful picture of Chicago from the top of the cell tower. Looks like kind of like a Willy Wonka kind of picture. Anyway, I had to stop and write this post before it slips my mind. So as a hardcore sports fan, I can't fucking stand how Dave has no faith in the Knicks. First, he was talking about how the Knicks got blown out in Game 2 of a 7-game series, and it wasn't looking good for them when it was tied 1-1 at that point. Fast forward to the new episode, he was in shock that they were able to win the series 4-1. And he mentioned how they play the Miami Heat in the next round and that he's not too confident in their chances. The Heat are the fucking 8 seed. Knicks have home court advantage. If I was a Knicks fan, I would be feeling good and be super hyped for the next round. And Kevin wrote this before the Knicks Heat series started, so I bet Kevin understands now. The Heat are a really quality team, and the Knicks are perennial losers. Anyway, Dave is one of those fans that will ride the coattail of the Knicks. And if they do good, he'll keep cheering. But if they fall down early in the series, he'll give up on them and bash them and get off of that coattail. I think it's coattails. I don't think it's coattail. But then if they make a comeback, he'll be right back on that coattail. I guess he's setting low expectations for them. So if they do lose, he won't give two shits because he was expecting it. I hope you read this, Dave, because I'm calling you out. You are not a true Knicks fan through and through. Sorry for the long post, but this shit was really irking me. Kevin, I have to say, you disgust me. You can't possibly be a true Dopey listener. If you were, you would know that I'm a sick, obsessed Knick fan. And any sick, obsessed Knick fan knows how difficult it is to be a Knicks fan because the Knicks always lose. So Knicks fans have a traumatic sense of things. Knicks fans need to guard against disappointment. And we're down 3-2. So Kevin, Dopey Nation, whoever's out there, please join me. And I've been praying for the Knicks in the morning. I'm praying for people I resent. I'm praying to be put on the right track, and I'm praying for the Knicks. And I hope if nobody's going to hear this before the game starts because I'm going to be posting the show basically as soon as the game starts. It's one of my greatest pleasures to post Dopey while watching the Knicks. And posting Dopey while watching the Knicks in round 2 of the playoffs in a must-win situation in Miami, it's going to be a very special but scary moment. But Kevin, fuck you. I cannot believe you don't realize what a Knicks fan I am. I snuck into Madison Square Garden. I don't want to go too crazy. Kevin, I'm glad that you listened to the show. I'm glad that you're in the Dopey Nation. Everyone, please pray for the Knicks. And join the Dopey Nation on Facebook and follow Dopey on Instagram and all that shit. All right, I'm going to read a quick message I got. Oh my fucking God. I'm listening to the newest episode and the guy is talking about the strips in the eyes, and let me tell you, this is real. I'm a jail nurse, and about 6 months ago, I had a whole bunch of inmates asking for drops because they had something in their eye and had one eye that was all red and irritated. I knew it couldn't be pink eye because it was across multiple blocks with inmates who didn't have contact with each other. I have a good rapport with most of them and finally got one of them to fess up and tell me what was going on and why everyone needed eye drops. I about fell over when he told me they put them in their eyes. I've had inmates put alcohol wipes in their asshole and other crazy shit, but that was the first I'd heard of it. According to my sergeants, it's been a thing for years. So again, if anybody out there is putting Suboxone in their eyes or liquid LSD, send in an email to dopeypodcast@gmail.com. Even better, send in a voicemail, make it like less than 5 minutes, make it funny, make it dopey, and I'll send you socks. And if I read your email on the show, I'll send you socks. And if you want stickers, let me know. I'll send you stickers. Most importantly, sign up for Patreon. Patreon is the greatest way to support the show. There are many tiers. Join a tier, support the show, contribute to Patreon, and Patreon can contribute to you. Last week, my dad was on video. Fentanyl J was on the week before. We've been doing these just for today videos. Lots of good stuff. Look for some interviews with Dopey Nation people. You just go to www.patreon.com/dopeypodcast. Here is one more email I want to read. What up, Dave? Jackie here from Arkansas, avid Dopey listener for some time now. I'm on episode 358 today, and fuck, Fent, Jay, and Jed are bringing the motherfucking Dopey. Yeah, that one is really very dopey. Let me back up. I get overstimulated by the amount of shit I relate to with your podcast and have to take notes. Literally, I'm slightly burnt for future attempts at articulating my own dopey past stories. I'll begin with the very first time I can remember using anything to get high, when I was like 10-ish and taking Benadryl. Not to trip like Jed did, but just to fucking sleep, to escape. I remember enjoying that heavy, wonderful feeling just to go out. Fast forward into my life of evolving progressive drug afflictions. I can't remember if alcohol or weed came first, but that was at 13 or 14 I started taking LSD and I fell in love. My boyfriend was 18 and had a college friend, ironically named Bill Wilson, who would mail us sheets of acid and letters. So all was great for a while with lots of hallucinations and copious amounts of weed and laughing and fucking in life. And when I was 15, the boyfriend and myself got some acid from a local guy in Fort Smith, the same place Jess Kent was all methed out, and I ate like 7 hits, and we headed to the classy Motel 6 for a night of acid fucking pleasure. He's about 5 minutes in, hitting it from behind, and boom, I flip the fuck out. I fly off the bed and curl into a fetal position in the corner of the room by the door. All I know is I took more than I ever had up till this point in my life, and I felt like I was getting lost in my own head and was afraid it'd never end. I felt like I was shrinking in that corner like Alice in Wonderland. The dude I was with tried to calm me down, and after a bit, I was like, okay, take me to the guy's house we got it from. And he was like, what the fuck? And off we went. I walk in, tripping fucking balls. Tell this motherfucker this is his fault. And he's like, okay. And at the same time, this other guy who is there, let's call him Devin. Devin comes in and says, come here, you're okay. And calmly has me sit down on this amazing rug that was full on moving and swirling beneath us. He talks to me calmly and gets right in my face and says, do you know what's wrong with you? Why you feel this way? And I'm like, no, wise dickhead. Tell me. And he screams in my face, mind you, your brain is melting. And as he does, his whole face melts, and he goes from looking like a normal douche from the 90s to a fucking melting rat. Needless to say, I bolted and made the boyfriend drive me around all night listening to Dark Side of the Moon, as it was the only thing semi-calming me down. Poor guy, he just wanted to fuck all night, LOL. I don't think I ever had sex on acid. Anyway, 2 days later, my mother in her Grateful Dead tie-dye ended up taking me to the ER because I was still fucking high as shit. The doctor asked why I would take LSD, and I yelled at him, I don't know, just fix me. I went home with a bottle of Xanax, and that was that. I wasn't right for a long time. My life did even out for a small amount of time. I traded the hallucinogenics, or I traded the hallucinations for straight vodka and eventually became a junkie in my 20s. I've got dopey stories for days and never tell them. I am in a program, but these dopey stories don't exactly promote recovery in the rooms, but it feels therapeutic to share with the Dopey Nation. Y'all get me. I get y'all. Fucking stay strong, Dopey Nation, and motherfucking toodles for Chris. P.S. I'll be back with more shit. I have a story about triple C's, robo walking, and lots more dumb shit. Much love, Dopey Dave, and I'd love some socks, bro. All right, you get socks. Send me an email with your address, and I will send you socks. And I don't know. I love LSD stories. I like psychedelic young love stories. I like that Jackie had to listen to Dark Side of the Moon to feel better. I remember when I was like, 18. I think I heard Dark Side of the Moon for the first time, and I was becoming a serious stoner. And I remember I was in a basement apartment in Ithaca, and it was my friend who I was in a band with and this couple that lived on the other side, and the other side of the apartment, and every day I would get high with them, and they had one of those kerosene lanterns, and they had a closet with a grow space. The guy's name was Kevin. I cannot remember the girl's name, and I just am very grateful to them. I was so happy to have ever heard Dark Side of the Moon in that state, in that moment. And if anyone in the Dopey Nation has never heard Dark Side of the Moon, go listen to it by Pink Floyd. Thank you, Jackie. And if you've never heard Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, send in an email or a voicemail to dopeypodcast@gmail.com. And if you listen to it and it's not in your top, 20 albums of all time, I want to hear about why. Why is it not in your top 20? It's so perfect. And if you're struggling with that the way I am, if it's not in your top 20, you might need some online therapy, which is why it's a perfect time to say that this episode of Dopey on the dark comedy of drug addiction is sponsored by BetterHelp. How much time a week do you take care of yourself? Do you think you're spending too much time worrying about others and not focusing on your own mental health? I see it just like the airplane scenario where you can't help anybody else with their seatbelt until you do your own. You can't help somebody else with their life jacket or their airflow until you do your own. And one way to take care of your mental health is therapy. And one amazing way to get therapy is through BetterHelp. Therapy can give you tools to help you have more balance in your life so you can keep supporting other people. Therapy has helped me get balance. It's helped me see things clearly, and it's helped me be a better help to other people. So if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Find more balance with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/Dopey Podcast today and get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/Dopey Podcast. We've got a very, very exciting show for you today. We have New York City freestyle master and budding stand-up comic Kosha Dills, a.k.a. Rami. I found out about Kosha Dills from this amazing Instagram page, NYC Nico. Nico is this filmmaker, and I saw Kosha rapping on the streets of Manhattan, freestyling. I also heard about Kosha from a friend who helped me make The Last Jewish Waiter a million years ago, and I found out that Kosha was sober. Kosha was sober, so look forward to that. Also, Ray Brown was on the road, and he sent in a recording of him with the Dopey Nation member Eddie B that they recorded in New Orleans. So we're gonna hear from Ray. Jersey Jerry I was on Jersey Jerry's podcast this week, Friend of Jerry. So check out Friend of Jerry. But he told me something on that show that I had to have him tell on Dopey. So you're gonna hear that from him. And we're gonna close out the show with the return of Linda. She hasn't been on Dopey in so long. Linda, she had surgery this week, so I've been at home like a madman taking care of the family, trying to take care of Dopey and my responsibilities at Katz's. Today we served 700 people, and I fucked up, and they didn't get coleslaw and potato salad. So that was a huge, horrible, freak-out problem. I've been trying to participate in this Dopey Fitness Challenge that Doug Bope set down, and it's hard, man. It's like when people compare sugar addiction with drug addiction, I normally laugh at them, but it's very similar. It's similar in that for me, if I'm abstinent, I can stay abstinent, but if I do a little, I go crazy. Like the other night, I was just I was pretty abstinent, but then it's been just such long days looking after Linda after her surgery, and she's going to tell you about that, looking after Linda and the kids, and someone sent us some food, and there were some cookies. I swear to God, as soon as I take one bite of the cookie, I'm busting out the Quaker Oat squares, covering them with chocolate syrup, putting milk on it, and then eating the graham crackers. I can't just have a little bit. It's just not in my makeup. I'm also really trying to drink a ton of water. I'm drinking I think I need to drink 5 or 6 of those 20-ounce water bottles a day, and I think it feels good, but I'm urinating all day. It's ridiculous. I don't know how anyone drinks that much water. If you guys are participating in the Dopey Fitness Challenge, send an email to dopeypodcast@gmail.com. We got amazing stickers made. So if anybody that signs up for Patreon now gets stickers. So if you signed up for Patreon and you didn't get stickers, let me know. And if you want a couple stickers and you don't want to sign up for Patreon, let me know and I will send it to you. And that is because we have a new patron. And the new patron is called Custom Stickers. And Custom Stickers makes fucking amazing stickers. And if you're out there looking to make some stickers, you need to check out customstickers.com because they make them cheap, they make them fast, and if you use the code DOPEY, you get 20% off your stickers at customstickers.com. If you want Dopey stickers, let me know. If you want to make your own stickers, go to customstickers.com, use the code DOPEY, and save 20%. It's the best deal on stickers you're ever going to find. I'm waiting on the new Dopey Mets logo, the New York Junkies based on the New York Yankees logo, fucking the Dopey Bad Brains logo. Those stickers are coming soon, so just stay tuned. DopeyCon is, by the way, it's 100%. It's official. We've locked in the space. It's going to be October 7th. I think it's going to be 6 at night, 6 to 8. At 8, we're going to eat and chill. Tickets are going to go on sale very soon. I'm very excited about the lineup. We will find out soon what the fuck is going on. And before we get to Kosher Dills, I just want to say that this episode of Dopey is brought to you by Lucemira. Are you addicted to heroin or opioids or opiates or anything opiate related? Lucemira could be helpful to you. It is a non-opioid prescription medicine used in adults to help with symptoms of opioid withdrawal that may happen when you stop taking an opioid. The journey to recovery from opioids can be difficult. No one has to go through it alone. Adding Lucemira to your treatment plan can help. It's the only FDA-approved non-opioid, non-addictive treatment for the relief of multiple symptoms of opioid withdrawal. Lucemira can provide relief, helping you focus on your recovery, not your symptoms. Remember, Lucemira can cause serious side effects, including low blood pressure, slow heart rate, and fainting. Watch for symptoms of low blood pressure or heart rate, including dizziness, lightheadedness, or feeling faint at rest or when quickly standing up. If you experience these symptoms, call your healthcare provider right away. After a period of not using opioid drugs, you can become more sensitive to the effects of opioids if you start using them again. This may increase your risk of overdose and death. Tell your healthcare provider if you take benzodiazepines, barbiturates, tranquilizers, sleeping pills, or drink alcohol, as taking these with Lucemira can cause serious side effects. The most common side effects of Lucemira include low blood pressure or symptoms of low blood pressure such as lightheadedness, slow heart rate, dizziness, sleepiness, and dry mouth. Lucemira is available by prescription, and only a healthcare provider can decide whether the product is appropriate for you. To find a provider who is right for you and to get more information about Lucemira, visit lucemira.com or call 1-833-LUCEMYRA. All right, now everybody get comfortable because we're going to have a nice, long conversation with the incredible, epic journey of dealing and using and getting clean with Kosher Dills, also known as Rami. I'm in the kitchen at my dad's house with one of the more Jewish guests we've had on the show. I'm thinking about Jewish guests we've had on the show. Some people accuse the show of being too Jewish. One, because there's a lot of anti-Semites in the Dopey Nation, but what are you going to do?
There are?
No, I think there's a couple. They just feel left out. You know what I mean? Because the show is pretty Jewish. I'm very Jewish. My father is extremely Jewish. Sometimes the guests are very Jewish. We've had a good run of non-Jews, so I'm happy to have you here. Kosher Dills, from MTV's Wildin' Out, from Instagram, from New York City Nico's stuff. Where do you think people would know you from? First time I saw you were dressed as Moses on the street rapping in Manhattan by Union Square, and I also saw you up in Yankee Stadium where they were like going to pull the plug on you, the cops.
Yeah. And
you have a real talent.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it was a really sober activity dressing up as Moses.
It's sobering.
It's funny. Yeah, I mean that's fun. That was a fun one. Yeah, I think people know me from, at least in New York. If you're New York based, you're going to know me from What Is New York?
New York City Nico, Instagram, like just little collaborations of New York, the New York atmosphere. I love New York City Nico.
Great guy, like just a good dude.
He is a good dude. I think I've
known him a long time. So
I met him at Katz's, and I think like I pushed too hard, too fast. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, "Slow down," kind of thing.
Yeah, a lot of people need the pump to brakes though. So you're not the only one. Just as in life, you know, it's not any strong sell. And this is coming from a salesman. You just got to be built for rejection, you know.
That's hard.
That's more important.
It's hard. It's hard though, right?
Rejection. Yeah, but I'm built for rejection. I feel like I am built from the armor of rejection.
Like I've been doing this podcast for 7 years. Many of the guests I've had on the show, I've written 100 times. You know what I mean? And like it's rejection and misery and self-esteem in the gutter, because it's like we were just talking about a certain hip hop legend who we're not going to mention, who got upset because he felt funny about how he was seen on Instagram or shared, and all that shit fucks up your psyche.
Yeah.
It fucks up my psyche. Does it fuck up your psyche?
Not as much as it once did.
So what has changed and what was bad?
Well, I'll just, so people know a little bit, I'm sure, I'm sober 18 years, 7 months.
It's amazing.
So it's July 30th, 2004.
Incredible.
Just want to put a timestamp on it in case.
How old were you?
22.
That's
22.
incredible.
Yeah. So it takes a lot of, most of the reason why I was getting high, selling drugs, everything like that was because I didn't feel accepted. So like the search for acceptance takes new forms. So for instance, MySpace, be my friend, be my top 8. This is like a new thing, message me on Messenger, and you get that boom, that little sound that started becoming our
currency of getting high,
which could have been the blow of a whistle in a wrestling match or the crack of a baseball bat when you get a good hit. The sounds travel, right? And they just evolve into your different age of what gives you validation. So in a sense now, when I feel like, I'm getting rejected, and I always shout my man out, Peter Parker, 513. I met him Hollywood Boulevard selling CDs when I started street performing when I was living in LA. And he said, some of the days I say, let's just get the nose out the way. You want something? No, sure. Let's get the nose out the way.
Who's Peter Parker 513?
He's just this rapper I met. Giles, I think his name was. But like he was like selling CDs, like a hustler, like on Hollywood Boulevard. And then he would be posting like yoga videos and just doing like a lot of mindfulness activities.
Yogi freestyling, mindful guy?
No, but he had a mixtape. He was selling them, just the same thing that everyone does in these crowded areas where they're just like, hey, man, you want to make a donation? And they put it in your hand and they're like, hey, $2, $3. So I was like, wow, that stuck with me. What most important, he was homeless, and then he like bought himself a car, everything just from selling CDs. And he said, get the nose out the way. Like if anyone knows rejections, it's the people that sell on the street, because you're getting no's all the time. Where we feel bad is that we message somebody and now we think that they owe us a response. Like the fact that someone even took the time to say no to you means there's another step they think you're worth replying to.
I totally agree with that.
There's another level, because when people ask me for money on the way here, sometimes I look and say sorry. Other times I go, I'm tunnel vision, Other times I come, I see a performer on the street. I give him $1. I don't even have to listen. I'm just like, hey, what's up? What are you doing?
Acknowledgement.
Yeah, acknowledgement. Boom, And the thing is, you're going to be just fine if you don't have that guest or not. And you'll be just fine, right?
Right. But it's not even about that. It's about it's like something fucked up.
It's your own sense of worth that is
right, and that's character defect. It's like a piece of me that I don't love.
So I would whenever I would feel in a place of low self-worth, I will contact all the people that I know that don't pick up the phone when I call. Isn't that fucked up? So
that you can really get the beating.
Yeah, so I could really feel like shit about
because
myself.
When you started this talk, I thought you were going to pump it up with the good stuff, but you're like me. I started making those calls today too, and nobody fucking picked up the phone.
No, well, not today, but I just know that when I feel bad like about myself, I would be like, she won't pick up, he won't pick up, he never picks up for me, and these are things that drive my self-worth. And these people, who knows, they might be busy. Maybe they don't want to talk to me, maybe they do, whatever, but I'm always searching for like 4 non-pickups, and I'll be like, see, no one supports me. And the thing is, that's not true. In fact, there's plenty of people that support you. You just don't think it's worth your time to acknowledge them. And then you're at this part where you didn't cultivate your actual support. So now I'm looking for the people that are like acknowledging me, and they're like, I love your stuff, and developing relations with them because they're important, and I want to acknowledge them and I appreciate them, instead of searching for people for outside validation who I think are more successful. And I spoke with someone about this. I spoke with my sponsor about this. He's like, we never compare ourselves to people who are doing worse than us. We only compare and seek for the validation from people who are of the highest regard to us. To other people don't give a fuck about them. You know what I mean? And I realize it's like, they can't help you to the degree that you think you have to help yourself.
It's all a mind fuck. It's all fuckery. It's like I can get 1,000 great reviews and one shitty one, and the 1,000 didn't mean anything.
Meaningless.
When I started working with my new sponsor, right, it was years ago, and I had just had Artie Lang on our show. You know, Artie Lang from New Jersey, from the Howard Stern show. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. And it was like the biggest thing in the world to me. And also my partner had just died. Like we went to interview Artie. We did and they were both high, and I didn't even realize they were both high. And we left, and it was the last time I saw my partner alive. And then I was trying to get Artie to come back on the show, right? And I'm writing him, and he's like not responding because he's probably getting high or whatever he was doing. And I had to go.
Is he clean too? I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay.
I would guess he's not, but I don't know. I'm not going to say he's not. I would assume he's not from my communications with him and like he does, Cameo. Mm-hmm. He did a cameo for me for DopeyCon 3, and he looked out of his mind and sounded horrible. He did, and I love Artie Lang. But what I'm going to say is that I'm so fucking weak in myself that at that moment I had to go to my sponsor and be like, Artie's not responding to me. And I had to do a fucking like, I had to write about it. I had to write it fourth step on how I felt about Artie. You know what I mean? And it's so like, Artie is Artie and I'm me, and like my life is great, and it's just like to value what's good is what you're saying, and what I think you're right. And I hate when I go to that weak place. It's not where I like to go.
No, that's why we have like these simple things like gratitude lists. Like,
yes,
I know it seems, someone, you don't need like incense and sage and a candle that's $23 from like the expensive shop of, wherever you are in Bushwick, something like that, But sometimes it does help because it puts you in the mind state of like, oh, nice. Hey, let's get a cup of coffee. And you could just talk without the coffee, but it kind of sets the ambiance for setting yourself up for, okay, we're going to feel great about ourselves today. You know what I mean? It's like, okay. It's almost sometimes that, you could go to the gym, have a horrible workout, but it's still better than nothing, So at least you're attempting to, when I'm saying light the candle, get some scents.
Do you do all that stuff?
Sometimes I prefer to stay in insanity and just be like, no, today we're hardcore. The crib's a mess. We're fucking savage.
Yes.
Right. And I like to get to this mode because like your beast mode, whatever, beast mode could be two things. Beast mode could be mindfulness, serenity, and beast mode could be like clank, clank, like the iron. You know what I mean? Like weights, like cold shower.
Did you say clank, clank, like the iron?
Yeah, like squat. We're doing squats today.
Right.
We don't need no machines. We don't need no fancy stuff. It's like the basics.
Rocky 5 kind of shit. Rocky 4 kind of shit.
In
Russia.
Exactly.
I got you.
Yes, exactly. Like, oh, it's snowing and it's raining outside. We're going for a run.
Strap the chains on and pull some logs and shit.
Yeah.
In Brooklyn.
Yeah, exactly.
So I want to go back because I want to know.
Yeah, let's go back.
First of all, do you go to meetings now before we go back? Mm-hmm. So you do? Mm-hmm. I was going to go to a meeting today. I was feeling like all this bad shit.
But you didn't.
I didn't.
Meeting. Yeah,
I was on my way to a meeting. You said I'll be here at 1. I was going to go to I'm blaming you. I was going to go to 1215 at Perry Street.
Okay.
And then you're like, I'll be there at 1. I'm like, all right, I'm going back. And I made some calls. I talked to some people. I settled down.
Great.
I'm not usually this out of sorts. I don't even know what the fuck is going on with me, to be honest with you. But let's go back. You're a young Jewish man in New Jersey. You're a wrestler. What'd you do first? Play sports or get high?
Sports.
And you were really into it.
I grew up playing soccer in Jersey, Edison, New Jersey. And I started wrestling when I was 8. And I wrestled till I was like 20.
Right.
So
you were
college. Good. Yeah, I was good.
And when did you start doing drugs?
Let's say like the first time I drank was 12. 15 was my most notable drinking experience when I like blacked out. I think I might have blacked out at the 12-year-old one too, but I was like at a parent's house, like a friend's mom's, I remember blacking out when I was 15, and it was pretty sus. I like woke up with cuts on my hands, vomiting. I think supposedly I got pissed on
because you smelled like piss.
Someone told me. I was like, oh my god, someone might have pissed on me, and could have been rumor, could have been true, and people were all looking at me at school, including like the best looking girl in school. And I just remember her like looking at me in the hallway, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. Like, she knows who I am. You know what I mean? Type shit.
Because you had gotten pissed on.
I mean, because I was like the crazy guy from like the wrestling team at the party. You know, who knows?
What else do you know from that blackout experience?
That was like, I don't know. I remember getting grounded for like the rest of the month. And, you know, I was like on my hands and knees vomiting. And my brother's like, get up out the street. And
older brother, younger brother?
Older brother, yeah.
Did he put you on to hip hop?
My oldest brother did have some Fat Boys tapes, which I was just explaining to my girlfriend at like the hip hop exhibit, the hip hop at 50 exhibit. I was like, yo, yeah, my brother Alon had some, Fat Boys tapes, which I listened to, which was kind of like a very early source of hip hop.
Whatever, the Fat Boys never are doing any kind of comeback stuff. They never pop up. No one's ever talking about the Fat Boys ever.
No, they're not. I wish. I mean, you know, ideally the Fat Boys got healthy, but one of them passed away. But I do know that the real hip hop stuff got put on to me around 16, and I started freestyling my boys, you know, over, you know, Wu-Tang. We lived right by, you know, Staten Island. I mean, this was, you know, 97, 98, and then my boy Yak was working at Bobito's Footwork, and he was...
Is that Yak Balls?
Yes. And he was working there and then doing the Braggerites at New York and Poets Cafe, which is sort of historical hip-hop poetry place.
Sure. And
yeah, that was just really cool place to be, and just I was rapping with them or writing raps and on the weekends and performing.
Hey, slow down. I'm very interested in this.
Yeah.
So you're drinking. Are you smoking weed?
Yeah, the weed starts coming in 16.
And how did you were with Wu-Tang?
No.
Wu-Tang had come out and they were inspirational.
Yeah, that was what we were listening to.
Yak Balls somehow connected with New Yorican, and you were like, fuck it, I'll go.
Yeah, because Yak used to spend the weekends in Jersey.
And it was Yak Balls and Kosher Dills. Was Yak Jewish also?
No, he was Persian.
So he was Persian, and you were Jewish, and you figured if he was the testicles, you would be the penis.
Basically, that was, you know, everything at 17 was sort of sexual reference.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, I mean, that's what, you know. But I was like, oh, Kosher Dill. I remember picking the name, and then I became KD Flow because people made fun of Kosher Dill. So I was like, oh, I don't want to be made fun of. And then I changed to KD Flow. I remember I seen some, you know, notebooks. One said Kid Flow. It was supposed to be like Kid Flow. I went KD Flow was the thing. KD Flow.
Okay.
And
when did you know that you actually... I tried to be... I freestyled a lot when I was a teenager, you know, smoking pot and stuff. And like I'd smoke pot in the stairway here and the roof, and we'd all like do ciphers and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was never particularly good. The higher I got, the better I thought I was. How did you know that you were good?
I think...
Because you're pretty good, I think.
Yeah.
You can go for a long time, too.
Well,
That's my favorite.
Freestyling is like, you know, now it's just... Its use it's amazing because people are just amazed by it. But this was really perfected probably when I was high. I mean, I really started getting freestyling when I got really into drugs because I didn't even have the ability to write. I think I lost all ability to write, and I just couldn't function.
So what were you doing?
Well, once I was deep into college and getting in with like blow and stuff like that, just, you know, a lot of cocaine, a lot of hallucinogens, ecstasy, just anything like that. It was just nonstop freestyling late at night.
It was like a superpower kind of thing. You'd get totally fucked up and be able to do this thing.
Yeah, I think I wrote like one rhyme that entire year. Like one rhyme. Like a page of rhymes. You know what I mean? I was like, no, you know, and I kind of got involved in like dance music was a big thing. You know, I was in the, you know, Sound Factory, Club Exit. Those were sort of the places of desire to go to in like 99, 2000, 2001. And I, you know, remember getting high in 2000, you know, and just got a couple arrests under my belt and then did some time.
Well, what happened there? What were you selling? Because I remember hearing that you sold a bunch of
sold everything. Mushrooms, ecstasy, acid.
And how did you get busted?
I just woke up on the beach. It was like high on the beach. Passed out on the beach. We were like lighting the Jersey Shore wood on fire, trying to have like a bonfire on the beach. I remember someone had brought a video camera down. I guess they just found all of us, and I just had like cargo pants or something and a bunch of pills in my pocket, and that was it.
Like ecstasy they caught you with?
Yeah.
And what did they charge you with?
Conspiracy or manufacturing ecstasy. It was like I don't even know how I pled guilty to
manufacturing ecstasy.
Yeah,
Have you ever made
it? No, I don't know.
I was going to ask the next
How
question.
they were like, well, when you get to the Canadian border, they're like, oh, so manufacturing ecstasy, and I'm like, that's not how it sounds, And I'm like, well,
Wait, you said what?
yeah, because it says like possession with intent,
Right. To
distribute, sell, manufacture, which is very broad. Because like, which one is it, buddy?
Well, you certainly aren't. If you're manufacturing ecstasy, I don't think I've ever talked to anybody that manufactured ecstasy.
Neither did I.
I would love to. I would love to hear the story of how people are
Yeah.
putting these molecules together. But how much? What was you got charged with? Possession and intent to distribute and manufacture, and what did you get?
They tried to give me 5 years, and then I ended up getting 9 months. So
Where'd you go?
5 years is I just chose like a county jail in it's called Ocean County Correctional.
In New Jersey.
Yeah. Basically what happens is they give you like 7 charges and then you plead to one of them. So they stick you with the one. And they were just ecstasy had a bad rap. Like people were ODing and
Yeah.
this was like pre-Oxycontin.
Yeah. Ecstasy was like the bad one for a minute.
Yeah, before Oxys.
Because the holes in your brains.
Yeah.
You don't get that addicted to it, but it puts holes in your brains.
Yeah.
How pivotal was the 9 months in your life?
That sentence, not at all, really. I mean, it was like I wanted to do more time. At that point, I felt that I was like, well, I want to do like a state prison bid because then I'll feel like I was better. You
weren't good enough.
Like, yeah, I wasn't good enough.
Not a good enough criminal.
Exactly.
Not hard enough.
Not hard enough.
Were you rapping in jail?
No, I thought everyone was trash. They were trying to rap, and I was like, that's just whack.
The skills were not up to par.
Skills were horrible.
And if you had showed them up, they would have beat the shit out of you?
No, I was just like, oh, this shit's whack, and I just didn't want to do it. This one dude rapped. His name was Blaze. He was another Jewish kid, and then one time I stole his shit. I took his commissary. I don't know what I did, and he's like, what?
You were like a tough wrestler guy, so you could fight in prison.
Yeah.
So you stole Blaze's fucking commissary? What'd you take?
Oh, it was like a muffin. No, I didn't like physically take her. We were like, listen, it's like, I got your money in my commissary. Because, basically people had outstanding balances or something like that in jail. Like, so let's say you went there and you were there for a year and then you come back and they're like, well, you owe us money. Like, so you put money in our books, we just keep it there. You're not able to buy anything. So then they would put money on other people's books, which I think that's what he did, if I recall correctly. It's like 20 years ago.
So what did you do wrong to Blaze?
None. I just thought he was just very like snaky. And then I was just like, well, fuck you.
Was he a decent rapper or no?
Mm-mm,
he was
I don't
trash
think
also?
So. Yeah, I just think everyone's trash. I mean, everyone was trash at the time in there.
I think there's a great movie to be made out of a white Jewish rapper who goes to jail and thinks everyone sucks, and then there's some kind of like battle, like rap. I don't know.
Yeah, people love to see it.
Everyone loves Jews rapping in jail. It's a thing.
Yeah,
I think it's a thing. I think it's a thing that's not really happening enough.
No.
So you get out of there and you get sober then?
No.
What happened?
I started selling drugs a week after, even more. And
Same
I'm just
stuff?
like, coke.
You're selling a ton of coke?
Yeah, I was in an armed robbery 4 days out of jail. Almost got killed.
Please tell the story. Please tell it slowly and full of details. This is the kind of stuff that we live on.
Oh, really? This is what the Dopey Podcast wants?
It's what they want. The Dopey Nation wants it.
Dopey Nation.
As a representative of the Dopey Podcast, I want it as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, there was a string of people doing robberies like around the college area of New Brunswick. I remember when I got out, I had a bunch of like silver chains my dad gave me. Not that he didn't give me, I just had it. You had to take it off. So my dad, gave me the chains. And like, I remember the first 2 days out of jail, I like went to bed. I remember like, I was like slept normal because I was used to going to bed 11 o'clock because I got, chow time's like 7 o'clock in the morning or some shit like that. I don't even know. So
you're on a regimen kind of thing.
Yeah. I go to New Brunswick and we're chilling and my man's like, yo, I want you to be around because I'm getting back to it. I got this deal, so I just want people around and shit. Okay, all right, I'll pull up. So he's gonna drop like 2 pounds of weed off, which is I don't know about like $7,000 or something like that. And so my boy Gene's there, my boy Brian. Yeah, so everyone's just like, this is that long ago, and these dudes come through and they're doing the deal, and then dudes come in with like masks on. Where they have masks on? I don't remember. They go upstairs. I know my one boy got pistol whipped bad. Yeah.
In front. And what were you doing there?
I was just like rolling with my homie.
Right.
That like to make sure everything was cool, which obviously it wasn't cool because we were getting robbed.
Yeah, it's horrible.
And they just, gun to the head, run my shit,
Took
take
the
off
silver chains.
Yeah, which were like, I had like money in my pocket. They were like, I had like singles. Like, I must have been like $20, and they just took they just beat the dude upstairs. His eye was like, bam, they just hit him with the gun, which was pretty crazy. And my man Doug was just always like, we were always just like selling and then like getting stuck, or I stole from people too. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I stole from my friends and shit like that.
But never like armed robbery stealing.
I did do one, but I was the lookout. So it was kind of, I think legally it would go down as I was participating.
Right.
That I went to a college dorm with a mask on and stuff like that.
Who did you rob?
We didn't rob anyone. The person wasn't there, but I did it with like one of my neighbors. This was before I went to the jail. I did with this guy.
So you were living very criminally. You were, as they would say, criminally minded.
Yeah, criminal minded. Is that a KRS reference?
Yeah. Thank you. I'm trying to make you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
But that was
4 days out, and then I got into selling coke like immediately. But then I was on parole, so because I didn't do all the 9 months, so I was on parole, and now I'm like going probation, parole. It's just the whole thing, man. And I remember after I got in the robbery, I went to the bar to do shots at the Scarlet Pub.
Okay.
In New Brunswick, New Jersey. It's still there.
Okay. Were you all shook up when you went to the Scarlet Pub?
I mean, yeah, I was kind of shook up, but I was just like,
I'm like shook up just hearing the story.
Whatever. It's weird to have guns to your head.
I've never had that happen.
Yeah, it's not pleasant.
No, I'm
well, I mean,
happy.
If you're alive, it's just is what it is. And then if you're not, then it's because someone pulled the trigger. I mean, that's basically it. But I also went out and tried to do it one time too. And then if we got caught, I wouldn't even, maybe I'd be getting out of prison now. Like what if,
Thank God.
So.
I want to know about this, right? Did you come from like a middle class family?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, immigrants, Israeli family.
Israeli family. Interesting. Because it's like drug addict, right? Crime, dealing. Like how... Did you have this idea in your head like you were some kind of a bad guy kind of thing? Was that interesting to you? Or how did it all fit together in your head? Like now looking back.
Like looking back, you're searching for validation, being the center of attention, being the man.
Right.
You like to be the man. People want to be the man with the stuff.
Right.
Everyone comes to you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's your relationships with everyone. And
I sold a little bit of drugs. I was never really good at it. And I always did all the drugs, and I never made good money. Did you make good money, or did you always do all the drugs?
I think at my highest, I had like $20,000 or $30,000, and then I it all went away last time I went in because confiscation and money towards the rehab that you had to pay cash and.
Right.
The first time my dad took the money I had and like put it in stocks and stuff, which is a sweet guy because he was like, oh, use the money and put it in stocks.
Yeah.
Like,
did he know where it had come from?
Yeah.
And he wasn't like aghast.
Like he wasn't like, we're throwing this away. But like, I kind of grew up in a very like, honest family. Like I didn't need to sell drugs, I didn't need to. I could have just got a job. You know what I mean? I mean, most people don't need to sell drugs. You don't need to sell drugs for $10. You could just literally make money on your phone today and be like, literally could do anything to make $10. But you're going to go.
It's status. Away. You're getting drugs. It's social life. It's a whole thing as a kid.
Yeah. You're at the grind and you got someone come up to you that's like, I need something. And you're like, fuck you, you little bitch. You don't need nothing. And I'll give you this 1 gram and it's a 0.6 and you'll get to take it. For the same price because you're whatever.
Where were you selling mostly?
I was selling just at parties, but like there was this famous bar and there was like just the era of that time in the early 2000s. You think of like 2000, 2001. This was like before 9/11. This crazy time and like right after 9/11. It
was a much different world.
Yeah, dude, and we were just like. I remember the FBI came to my house because I was like, obviously on bail in between, when my father bailed me out for like $5,000 on the credit card, which is crazy because I ended up bailing a friend out of jail like a few years ago. And I'm like, yo, this is so crazy. Bailing someone out.
But thank God you're the one bailing now.
Yes.
That's a great position to be in.
Exactly.
It's a gift of sobriety.
So someone that I was like selling drugs with or buying drugs from was like, under watch by like federal marshals for like murder. or maybe he ended up getting arrested, you know? And then just all that. I mean, I was like, wow. So now the police are, you know, when I went back to my lawyer for the first charges, for Exo's first time getting arrested like that, they were like, oh, you were been under watch by federal marshals. Like they are going to
You were the
push
man,
you
it
in.
turned out.
You weren't. It wasn't just your little first offense.
Right.
It wasn't just a one time like I got caught and I got, you know, and I got to stay at wrong crowd. You know, this is your crowd now. So I lived in this one spot in New Brunswick where it was like bar, drugs, laundromat, pizzeria, payphone, beepers, drugs, 3 cell phones, you know, all
built
prepaid
in.
minutes,
Right.
beeper, $100 prepaids, you know, and it was just like this little world where you're like, wow, I'm like the man. I'm like, watching the movie Blow or selling at frats and maybe trying to get hooked up with a girl or you're just on drugs and you're living in a delusion.
But it's also real. That's the fucked up part.
Well, yeah, the real thing is that someone's going to overdose and die, so then it becomes a little, you know what I mean? But other than that, people are just drugs and...
What I mean, though, is within that community, within that culture, you actually are the man. You actually are going to make a bunch of money. You actually are going to hook up with some cute college girl. And that was the life until the fucking consequences come into play.
No, I know it wasn't no cute. It wasn't, you know, it was like crackhead shit.
No,
You know
okay.
what I
Well,
mean?
it wasn't like, I thought it was like college town.
No, yeah, it is college town. But like, then I think about it, you're like, yeah, I was just like, I like, you know, got down to that part where I couldn't even muster the energy to go to school. Just stopped going, just stayed in my place. And I think I did. I remember my like longest string of cocaine was like every single day for like 3 weeks. And to the point where, you know, I got hemorrhoids, I think, from like cocaine. It was fucked up. You know what I mean? Pretty savage shit, you know? Like everyone's like, oh, were you homeless? And you're like, well, I was so fucked up that I didn't even have a key to my own apartment. So every time I would lock it, I would just pick the lock to my own house with credit cards.
I would do that too.
And then climb into other people's houses just to sleep on their couches.
Because you couldn't get into
home.
yours?
Yeah, or I couldn't get home and shit like that. So it was like, you know, I think there's levels to it, right? And a big thing, and I don't think people understand, is that like now with music, you want to get to another level. Now with influence, you want another follower. Back then, I wanted another year in prison. I wanted 3 years. I wanted to get like a 3-year bid. I would have feel like it more credible today.
Is that true? No,
Yo, it's
but is
crazy,
that true?
though.
Is that true?
Yes, it is very true.
So you get out of the 9-month deal
Mm-hmm.
and you get right back into the game heavier, right?
Heavier.
And you're using way more. And in your, because it's like, I don't know you, right? I know you from Instagram, and you have this really lighthearted,
I have a
funny,
lighthearted,
sweet,
yeah, my brand is
thing.
not this.
And I'm like, wait a second, because like I'm trying to like make sense of it. Like when you're like, fuck you, bitch. I'm not gonna fucking.
Well, I really say like,
and I appreciate it, dude, because you're telling me exactly what happened, and that's what the show is about.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying
this is
to
the
like
thing.
make you feel uncomfortable.
I remember going like, this is the thing. I remember one time this guy was like, and a lot of this happened from when I turned 19, my second year in college. I finished wrestling. I didn't go back to the wrestling team. I was so high. It was a wrap. Like there was, you know. I went to counseling. They're like, you're high right now. I'm like, no, I'm not. And like throwing shit. Like I was that guy in the office that was like, yo, you would not approach me on the street.
Right.
So
You're on coke.
everything. Like, right. I couldn't even not get high for the appointments I had. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? So, you know, you take that and then you go and, you know, you meet some old guy at a bar and you're like, this guy's like, come give me, you know, here's $100. If you don't come back with my shit, I'm going to kill you.
Right.
You know, and he was like, I will kill you.
Some
and I was
old
like,
Jersey
I'm like, let's get it. Like, I'll be back. You know what I mean? No problem. I mean, I developed a lot of skills like that. I developed a lot of trust and when you get robbed and you steal from other people, like at a certain point in your life, like you just learn a lot about street stuff and just think. I remember one time seeing people on street corners just with guns or just shit like that. And you're like, all right, this is normal. This is like kind of normal life, which is like not normal.
Well, it's the culture
Yeah,
of being
of
a
that.
drug dealer, being
Drug
a
addict.
drug user, and also being a rapper where that shit is, I mean, if you're listening to Wu-Tang or that kind of shit at the time, that is embedded in the music.
Yeah, but rap has nothing to do with me at this time of my life. Like at this time,
You're not listening to it?
No. In fact, I remember like, I don't even know what I was listening to. I feel like dance music was like really big at that time.
What years are we talking about?
2001.
Okay.
This is before I got clean 2004. So we're like in my physical bottom, not my spiritual bottom. And I'll get to that part.
I'm
but
with
like
you.
I want to remember like shared essence. I think I touched on something is that like you want to do more time in jail. Like that is your goal, right? It's like now you're a rapper. You're like, I want to do more tour. I need a tour. I want to do more tour dates and even whatever. And what I learned is like I remember stealing a car, but to me like the keys were in it and I took it and I just never brought it back. So like police would say you Grand Theft Auto. To me, I would be like, well, it's just like whatever, it's cruising. And also even now I still think back like, oh, you didn't really steal. Like you're not really about it. So I was like half-assed about it. And I felt like I remember one time a dude owed me money and he didn't pay me back and some guy just literally bloodied him up on the street. And I was like, yeah, I haven't even told this story in ages. Oh my God. I was like, yeah, motherfucker, like that was what's up. Like knocked out on the street, broad daylight, like New Year's Day, like 5 a.m. or something, like in a drug deal. And some dude was he just felt like rocking with me. He's like, I rock with you, Ram. People are not calling me kosher. You know what I mean? Must Rami. So the rapping stuff, I guess, would occur at parties.
Hold up. I want to understand this story.
This story.
You're on the street with this guy, and he fucking knocks some dude out next to you?
Yeah, the guy that owed me money.
And then did you get the money?
No.
But the guy got the punishment, and you felt good that street justice was delivered.
Yes.
Okay.
And at that time, and in other words, it's just like someone today, if someone needed $100, I just gave somebody $50 for their little GoFundMe, whatever.
Well, you're not the same person.
No,
You're
exactly not.
You're a totally different person.
Yeah, it was just so crazy though. But I wanted to live and die by like some
street code
that I was definitely not a part of, but I just joined voluntarily. Like it's there, you could like join and do anything. It's like learn how to be a DJ in 90 days. It was like become a full street hustler criminal. No, I love selling things. You love
people.
Yeah, I'm in the people business. I've always have been.
But I think it's interesting though, and maybe you don't, but like that in the culture of hip hop, especially in that era, like in the late 90s, whatever. I don't know what's going on in hip hop now at all, but I kind of knew then that street shit was a lot of the storytelling. So, and you were doing that stuff, but you don't think the hip hop had anything to do with you doing that stuff?
Nah, I think, I got caught into this. No, it had nothing to do with it. Like in hip hop stuff, I would smoke weed and stuff like that and like events, maybe. I did realize though that every time I would show up to an event sober, I always did exponentially better as a performer. When you rhymed, you mean? Yeah. 100%.
But culturally, when you're running the streets, when you're selling drugs, when you're involved with violence and getting fucked up, there isn't that kind of story. Like,
no, I did love Cormega and I did love Jada Kiss. I did. When the boats come in, they gotta use a scale that they weigh the whales with. I mean, I remember literally like cutting up cocaine to that song, and I was like, "Oh wow, this is it. I get it." Like I really loved that street stuff. But even if you look at Cormega now as the rapper, whoever is a great storyteller, obviously someone not as big as Nas, but an independent artist and comes from that era, he seems like a genuinely good guy. What I mean? Because if you make it out of that 20 to 40 era,
right,
and you're like, oh man, like
I'm reflecting on my childhood.
And it's crazy to me because there are multiple times I could have been killed or multiple times I could have overdosed. What I felt when I did the drugs, like I started going to meetings at that time and era.
When you were using.
Mm-hmm. This isn't my physical bottom. So this is on bail, on way to, from when I got arrested 2 years into college sophomore to my junior year before I went into jail. And then I came out like after the couple months I did. And when I got out of this street that I lived on Hamilton Street. I don't even want to, like, I was like somewhere on Hamilton in New Brunswick. So by the grease trucks, the old grease trucks. People probably know what this place is. So there was a time where I was like, okay, I need to just do these things. I found out I was going to jail. I came out of jail. The timeline is I had that armed robbery, 4 days out of jail. I'm not sober till this is 2002, 2003. 2003 I stay sober, and then about another 18 months I get arrested. So 18 months from my first jail, like time sentence, I get arrested again, and that's when I get sober. In that time, I was like, I'm just going to drink and sell drugs and get a girlfriend.
What was the second arrest for?
Second arrest, the second one was with, like I got arrested on my 18th birthday for the first time, just for weed. They said, happy birthday.
18th birthday. That's great.
Yeah. They're like, happy birthday.
You're a man now.
Yeah. Mazel tov.
Yeah, mazel tov.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Fucking 2004, I was running, like set up on campus, and it was like a sting operation, and I was running from the police, and I had a massive amount of cocaine on me because I would never leave it. My last 6 months before I got that arrest were in a breakup with the girl. My girl had, left me. Basically, that was like led to me like being completely insane, drug use, stalking a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Driving by her house and shit, seeing where her car was. I was fucking out.
You needed to know.
I needed to know because then I would be able to sleep better. And whatever.
I'm sure you were sleeping great when you're on that much coke too, right?
Yeah. 100%.
Would you take anything to come down?
Tylenol PMs.
Tylenol PMs.
Yeah.
That was the thing?
Or like, I guess some other stuff, Ambiens. Maybe,
but never benzos or opiates.
I don't even remember. Yeah, I took oxys a few times, but it just came out. If you watch Dope Sick on Hulu,
yes,
right. I was looking at that timeline when I got arrested, and the cheerleaders were just starting to do them.
You just missed. You just missed.
Yeah,
it.
I just missed
lucky.
it. I got lucky.
Brunswick probably got really bad the next year.
Yeah, 100%. And people were having them the 80s and the whatever the hell they were. And I remember taking one. I think I sold a couple. To people. I was like, all right, I will sell anything. I really don't care. I was selling door-to-door cemetery plots.
Really?
I had that job for a month. Yep, I was making $30,000 a year. I was like, oh man, this is it. Like I was looking in the classified sections, and I was going to school. I had maybe 7 or 10 credits left to finish. Dress up. I had a Rolex on loan from one of the guys I sold coke for. I was, the Sopranos were full speed. That's what my job was emulating. I wanted to be like the sleazy Jewish guy of all of it.
I think Modi was that guy on The Sopranos.
Modi?
He was on this. Did you see? He was on The
Modi was on The Sopranos?
That's why I had Modi on the show. We had Modi
Beautiful.
on Dopey, and he wasn't a drug addict or anything.
No.
But I heard Rami on Modi's podcast, so I have Modi in my mind. I have the mind on my Modi and the Modi on my mind.
That's fine.
But what was I going to say? You were talking about going to meetings before you were sober. What brought you to them?
I had to get the meeting list signed because I'm on parole and probation. So I'm like dodging urine tests and like taking all these pills to like help pass urine tests. Just for anyone listening. Huh?
Did you have the Wizinator?
No, they were like these pills you would and they were so expensive. And then I would just eat them, and I'm like, this isn't going to work because I'm not doing it right because I'm still getting high, but I just might as well use the product because I'm, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you paid for it.
Yeah, I paid for it. So I'm not as well. It's like when you're stuffed and you just eat the cake and you're like, I'm stuffed, I shouldn't eat any more cake, and you're like, fuck it, I'm just gonna eat it. And you're like, I'm like, I'm high eating the how to pass a drug test. Like this isn't gonna work, but I got the pills, I've been doing it away because I couldn't even stay clean long enough to take the way to pass your urine test properly. Some people had one time someone peed for me in a condom and I had to heat it up in a microwave. Sorry, Mom.
So where hold on. So please break that story down. You pay for somebody's clean urine. They give it to you in a condom, like a water balloon full of their clean urine.
Uh-huh.
And then where do you have to deliver the urine? How did you get to take it home and microwave it to deliver it?
Well, you heat it up and you put it in your underwear and then you go to the spot.
Right.
Yeah.
I had to do that. It was such a mess. I had the Wizinator, but I think I'm so uncoordinated. I couldn't handle that shit at all.
It's not for real drug addicts.
No.
It's for like normal people that made a mistake and they're like, oh man, I smoked weed 3 weeks ago. And you're like, all right, dude, get the Wizinator.
Yeah.
And we're going to give you a little a rundown on how to urinate properly to pass your urine test for your job.
God. It's
not for people on probation.
I was too fucked up
we're
to deal with
fucked.
it.
Yeah, dude.
It's funny.
There's no like little small writing that says this will get you unlocked from probation or drug court. You're screwed.
I love to hear about
prison.
people that like, because I hear from these people I hear from drug addicts that, Whizzinator stories, successful Whizzinator stories. And it's just so funny.
The everything bagel comes up as heroin as well. It's not just poppy seed, because there's poppies in the everything.
I know.
And everything is the best one.
I was in treatment one time. I was in 28-day treatment. And I think I was allowed to go to a meeting in town in Connecticut. And I come back and they test me. And it was like the first time in my life I never was using, and I came up dirty, and it was from the fucking bagel. It happened. And it's like, what a terrible thing. So, what did you hear in the meeting that made you be like, maybe I want to do this? What changed?
I used to go to 12-step meetings. Most of them were from the first letter of the alphabet. And I was just like, okay, this is convenient. And I remember, I am spacious with the story because I'm just telling you moments that I remember. And there was the one in New Brunswick, and it was on the college campus. I went there, and I would say, hey, I don't have a problem doing drugs. I only have a problem selling them. And that was one of my statements. They said, keep coming, Rami. And I remember a guy drove me home in his pickup, and I had a fridge filled with Milwaukee's Best. And not that I even drank it, but I wanted to get it for other people and just have parties and stuff. I wanted to be a, welcome guest to my household. And, it got to a point where there were two significant times in my recovery. I went from this one place. It was a house on the main strip, which was where I got the guy who got arrested for murder, I was underwatched by the feds from him. This was pre-jail sentence for the Ecstacy. This is while I was on bail. And then the next 18 months went from me being, at my parents' house, me, go visiting my girlfriend. I also lived on this place called Lewis Street, I remember, and I would have, drugs up. I just ruined all the places I lived at. In those times, I had to get meeting lists signed along the way, and I don't totally recall any successful, but I do remember one time celebrating 90 days and then going to meetings all in a row. And I'm like, oh, okay, I could come to these and just drink and not do drugs. And I once celebrated 90 days
just drinking.
Yes, I got a little red dust,
At a 12-step meeting that starts with the first letter of the alphabet.
Or it could have been, I don't even know what it, yes. And then I was like, all right, whatever. But I think in some of those I went to NAs. I remember going to one in Woodbridge, and I had a long list of shit signed, 2017. I was like, and that's how I went. And then eventually on my final arrest, I got arrested with I had over a half ounce cocaine in my pocket, and I was, all Italian clothing. I was with these shoes. I remember I bought all this shit. I was wearing
Cavaricci jeans.
No, I got Versace corduroy, blue metallic. I still have them.
Okay,
they're heirloom. I want to pass them to my children.
Right.
I was out of shape, fat. I went running. I ran so hard in these super horrible Italian shoes that I bought that I remember I thought my feet were broken. I threw the police officer off me. When I was in handcuffs, I had those shiny pants, shiny Italian pants, and I got the cocaine out of it, dropped in front of all the students, who everyone came out, obviously was looking at me because there was a sting operation. So I was set up in a deal, and all these people were running from all over. I came out of I tried to run back into the classroom. I think I was taking geometry or geography at the time. I had 113 credits at Rutgers, and that was it, man. I think it was Murray Hall, might have been. And that was it. That was the last of it. I went to jail. I was in 23-hour lockdown for a week with all these other people. And then that was it, dude. That was my journey. Rehab, 3/4 house.
It's interesting though, because people
halfway
often
house of
people talk shit about that process of needing to get stuff signed, right? Like that they're not really going to get recovery, but it sounds like it really planted a seed for you.
Yeah, definitely planted a seed. It took many seeds planted. I started going and I was supposed to get it signed, but I didn't bring anything to get signed. You know what I mean? I didn't bring it. You know what I mean? Then you're like, okay, I'm gonna get a little groove getting this stuff signed. I'm passing my urine test because I'm just drinking, so that's cool. I'm still selling, so I could keep the money going. And I got a regular job selling. My idea was, sell cocaine to you and give you a heart attack, and then get you to invest in
the
a
funeral
cemetery plot.
Right.
Yeah,
that was quite a hustle.
Yeah, and then after they sell you the plot, you have to invest in opening and closing and shit. You don't just throw you in there; you got to bury you too.
Right, it's a lot. So you go. So When you got busted with the half ounce of coke, how much time?
No, they never caught the half ounce of coke.
What happened to the half ounce?
Someone picked it up.
And what was the murder charge? Who was the guy who got? I don't think you even mentioned that. And then all of a sudden you mentioned that you had mentioned it. But what was the murder charge?
This dude from Puerto Rico that I was working with and selling stuff with and getting stuff from.
He killed somebody,
supposedly.
But did you know about it? Were you privy to this?
No, of course not. I was just like, whoopa.
So they don't find the coke on you. And what do you get when you get busted?
It was like, I saw the discovery sheet. It was just like so much. It was just like so much type.
But did you have to go back to jail?
No, I stayed in these inpatients and I ended up just getting probation on it because they only found like 1 bag of coke and like a 1/4 ounce of weed. And just because I was in recovery, I was like putting myself in jail necessarily. Like, oh, you're in a 90-patient rehab? Okay, that's 90 days. And it costs money for me to be in jail. So they're like, oh, he's paying his own out of own pocket. So if you don't want to go to jail, that's kind of the way to do it. You're like, I'm going to go to rehab for 6 months. I come out of rehab for 6 months and you'll see, all right, how long is he going to go to jail? And I remember first time I went to court, I saw somebody and he was about to do 4 years and he had like 9 months in rehab and not in rehab, like going to meetings. And he had all the 12-step program was, they all showed up to his court date and shit. And I was like, that's powerful. Ain't no one here for me. I'm going in, And for this, I had 3 months. Then I went to a 3/4 house in Mattawan. I was in Keyport, Mattawan, and Island.
When were you actually thinking, I want to do this? Like, when did your head change?
The week before I got arrested.
You were like, I actually want to get sober.
Yeah, I need to either go back to those meetings or get arrested. And I got arrested.
God doing for you what you couldn't do for yourself.
Exactly.
So, like, when does it become, like, a good thing? Like, how bad was it at first, and when does it become a good thing? The sobriety.
Oh, it was amazing right off the bat. My mom brought me clothes. My jeans, probably 11 days in, had a bag of coke in it. Threw it right down the toilet bowl and shared about it at a meeting while I was in the rehab and didn't even get in trouble for it.
Right. Cool, because you got rid of it.
Yeah, like I was done. Like I'm definitely going to prison for a long time.
And you didn't want to, even though you wanted.
Like I ran away from the police. I threw a cop off of me, and then I got in handcuffs. Like I don't know what the hell was on my shit. I owed people money for drugs, and I was like, "Listen, bro, I'm like not ratting you out. You're not getting it, but like don't worry." You know what I mean? And I thought to myself, "Wow, like I can't believe I'm just like ready." You're just like, "It's done." You're like, "This is a new thing. Like it's a new." Now I want the respect of people here. Now I want to fit in here. I want to, navigate my life here with these people. And I was going to meetings in the city and working and rapping. And I'm going to put a record out.
How did the rapping start?
I had recorded 4 records before, and I always wanted to put out a vinyl. So about 1 year, right before my 1 year in recovery, I remember it was like, I put out a vinyl.
So Kosher Dills started after you got sober.
Yeah, I came out as Kosher Dills when I got, like the last time when I came out of everything. I'm like, now we're putting this out as Kosher Dills.
The whole time.
I was KD Flow really before up to there. And then I was like, I'm going back to like this Jewish thing and like just stamping this. It's like some hood shit. Kosher Dills.
Do you think that the recovery made it so you could be kosher?
Yeah, and it was like kosher, not kosher.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's the kind of thing.
I get it. And obviously you had like cultivated some skills rapping as a kid. Mm-hmm. In your criminal days, you were saying you were just into dance music, but would you get into ciphers? Would you be freestyling with people? Was it part of your life at all?
In recovery?
No, but right before. And that
I mean, I did a show. I remember I did my first show. I was still getting high. So I was in the rap shit. Like I had songs recorded. I was buying beats from this dude, Mondi. Shout out to Mondi. And, some of the stuff didn't even make it out. And I just wanted to put out a vinyl. And I was like, wow. And I was burning CDs. And 6 months in, I auditioned for BET's Freestyle Friday. And I made television. And I saw it while I was working at the Hilton Garden Inn doing room service. And, basically what I do remember is that I had one line. I was like, I'm out of control on the set. You a fat dude with a lot of rolls on your neck. And then it just cut to the next person. I was like, that's great. That's a good line. Yeah. That's great.
Solid.
Perfect.
Right.
And people were like, yo, we got to connect you with 50 Cent. This is 50 Cent's out right now. Young Buck just came out. This was like what was popping in the streets. 2005. So we were like strong 2000s era. And then it just sort of just kept Rami's going to the Kosher Dills, going to open mics, rap battles, just doing rap battles, just doing things. I mean, that's what I was doing.
Did you ever, I mean, I know that you were like doing shit with RZA, and I know you did some shit with Modest Yahoo. Were there ever rap battles where like some crazy, where you had to beat somebody who we would have heard of? Because I love those kinds of stories.
Yeah. Speaking of RZA, I just seen him for his, the Hulu season 3 Wu-Tang stuff.
What do you think?
That's cool, man. It's
I don't
amazing.
think season 3 is like season 1 and 2.
No, I haven't watched. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm not going to comment on like what I think of it. I think it's amazing that he's reached a point where that people could learn the story of Wu-Tang through scripted drama.
What was he like in person when you met him?
Well, I was just thinking when I auditioned for BET Freestyle Friday, I once met him there, and I gave him a CD of me, and it was a picture of me drinking in Israel with like a Tommy Bahama shirt and like an M16, and he's like, "Oh yeah, so," something like that, you know what I mean? So, but then I was going up to Freestyle Friday like all the time. That was my thing. But I met him I think in 2009, rapped for him, and then I rapped more and more at all their shows. And
was he cool?
Yeah, he's very cool, dude. He let me just tag along. He was just like, I just figured I could kind of show up and just be around.
It was him and Old Dirty Bastard's son?
Yes.
And how is he?
He's awesome.
Is he sober?
No, but he's pretty sober.
He's got his
I think he has got his head together. I mean, he has a lot of kids, and whatever. I'm sure they have issues, right? He comes from a guy with a lot of issues.
Yeah.
So, but he's a cool dude, and I think he'll live a long life, ideally.
Yes. I mean, I was so into Wu-Tang when it came out. Like, I couldn't even believe it. You know what I mean? And then, like, I got into the stupid show because it was, like, reminiscent for me of Wu-Tang. And, like, to hear that you were involved with that, because RZA is such a mythical figure in my mind that he architected all that stuff, and that you were in that story, even just the fact that you were accepted in there. It's very cool to me.
It is cool. It's just like they're also crazy, weird, and I'm just like around. And I ended up doing a song with RZA, like, and Cool G Rap, and I pointed it out
with Cool G Rap in the studio at the same time.
Yes.
How was that?
It was fucking bananas.
Tell us.
So I show up. This is crazy. So it was my birthday. What year was it? Yeah, 29th birthday, 30th birthday maybe. Over in UK. I'm supposed to go into UK, and I'm like exhausted. I don't have a work visa, and I say, "Oh yeah, they're just giving me money back. They're going to give me money back to go to the UK," which was illegal, I guess, as far as like a work visa, because it still meant I was working. So they deport me. I'm on my birthday. I'm like in the room with like where they put like people that they consider
dangerous or something.
Yes.
They had obviously known about your time in New Brunswick.
No, it was, I don't know what, I just think it was, I said something wrong and it was a rap. So I went back to Hamburg. They flew me back to New Jersey 5 days later, right? I was the first person to be deported from this UK event called Limud UK. It's like a Jewish study artistic festival. And they deport me back to New Jersey eventually. I go back to Hamburg where I flew in from, right? Because I was doing shows out there with Necro and Freeway and coming from Hip Hop Camp. I go back to New Jersey. Quick story. 5 days later is Rock the Bells. I drive down to Rock the Bells in my mom's car. I sneak into Rock the Bells. I sneak backstage. Poison Pen, the rapper, brings me on stage. I rap. I get backstage. And RZA is there. And the movie... what movie are there?
Man with the Iron Fist.
Not yet. But I did end up going on that tour. Side note. That's a couple years later. He was with this dude, Bokeem Woodbine or something like that. I don't know what his name is.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. So great actor, guy, even though I'm mispronouncing his name. There was a movie, I think, called Devil, and they're like in an elevator. They don't know who it is. They're promoting this thing. And yeah, RZA gives me his number. He's like, yeah, pull up to the studio, I think days later, right? Mind you, I'm in Maryland. So I end up going with him, and Skane, I think DJ Skane was there, who is somebody I know through RZA, is RZA's DJ. And I ended up at the studio, just hanging out. And then eventually, Cool G Rap just appears out of the woods, literally, because like his Wu Mansion's like in the woods. And then here comes Cool G Rap. It's like 3 a.m. And he's just like with a bottle of Hennessy. And I literally think I like slept there, if I'm not mistaken, and just made this
in the Wu
track.
Mansion. But you didn't drink Hennessy with Cool G Rap.
No, I was sober.
I know.
Yeah, I just woke up and I'm like, I just recorded a song with RZA. And then one day he uploads it to the internet. And yeah, it's called The Operator.
Amazing.
Yeah, and Cool G Rap's like, he's like missing a tooth, and he's just a legend. So I'm like there at the hip hop museum. I'm like telling,
all your stories to your girlfriend.
yeah, I'm like, you wouldn't believe it, but
But why wouldn't she believe it? I mean, like,
no, I mean just a crazy. Here's a crazy. Want to hear no crazy story? The time I slept over fucking RZA's house, and here comes Cool G Rap. Like, yeah, gotta be hood to love it. And Macklemore he told me, he's like, yo, bro, you fucking killed Cool G Rap on that verse, man. You know what I mean? Just
that's
like
awesome.
Yeah, who also a great guy in recovery. And
when did Macklemore tell you that?
at one of his shows later. I know them for like before. Seattle rap, 2007, 2008. I was going out to Seattle. I knew, Mac was in recovery, so that's how we kind of connected. And he was also like MySpace rocking, and just Seattle rap was the first people to really make great music videos.
Okay.
Just all those kids out there, and Macklemore sort of leading that pack.
But so you're touring the world. You're in England. You're at Wu Mansion. You're in Seattle, and now you're like very much New York City on the street, fucking like folk style. Like, why did you do it?
So I moved to New York because I don't know. I'm just like, I
you're
want to
from
get
New
onto it. Yeah, and I was like, I always want to live in New York, and there was an opportunity for me to move here to live for the same cost that I was living in LA. So now I don't have to worry about that cost. Now I'm living here for the same price. Now I'm just living in New York. I don't got a car, so now I'm on a subway. I'm doing all this shit. I'm in Park Slope by the park.
Nice.
For like $1,400. It's amazing, right? It's
totally.
impossible. But in July of 2020, anything was possible.
That's when you came out here.
Yeah.
From LA? Mm-hmm. Why did I think you had been here? I guess it's been a long 3 years, right? It's been a long
Coming up
fucking
on 3
3
years from here.
It's crazy.
So, during this time, I was just like kind of watching from LA during pandemic and seeing, Black Lives Matter starting, seeing Nico out there, seeing like Jeremy Cohen, a lot of the New York creators, Paperboy, just a lot of the people making stuff happen in the pandemic. And I was, I'm like, I got hit by a car twice in LA on my bike. I was like, I'm getting out of this. It's like I got to go. I get back out to New York and I street perform over in front of the Williamsburg Hotel. And my father, my parents moved from Israel to New York in like 76. And literally across the street where I first set up of the street performing thing, because, people are kind of walking outside now, drinking on the street, sometimes drinking at Williamsburg Hotel. And there's like, separated drinking and stuff like that. Or people are serving drinks on the street. People start just filming me and tagging me on Instagram, and people just start seeing it. They have 1,000 followers, they have 500, they have 2,000. Just every day that I'm doing it, and it's like the only place you could play and perform. And there's people outside. In LA, there's no people. There's nowhere to go. You have to have a car.
So you're like, fuck it, I can
New
do
York,
this in the street.
I could do this in New York, and I saw bands that were making money, like $400 or $500 playing in the street, and I'm like, yo. Cash, and there's like unemployment, and there's all this stuff, and
it's New York City. It's the birthplace of hip hop.
So I'm like, this is cool, and now I'm just getting involved in stuff that other stuff is going on, and that's it. I'm just like, just going out, supporting people, just trying to be part of going.
How did you get into this wilding out thing?
It's from street performing. Well, I'll tell you about my first viral video. Okay, so my first video goes viral in December of 2020. So. When I first street performed outside by the Williamsburg Hotel, across the street from the 76 is where my father actually first had his first job. He was making $1,000 a month working at this factory over on Wythe and 11th, right at the corner of Williamsburg Hotel. And I thought, wow, it's like serendipitous of like me having this moment where I first came to New York City. I took the L train. I walked to the same place that my father walked. And then he worked there, and he was... in his 30s, and here I am, in my 30s, doing the same thing, like working at the same place. And the guy who he worked for or worked with, who managed a building, like I knocked on the door, and he was there with his son. And so the same guy was still there that my father knew. So I like FaceTimed them, and it was a cool moment.
That is cool.
So, I would just do this one spot, like just street perform, live stream, people tipping you on the app, and just all that stuff started coming out. in 2021, I started really getting into my physical health. I started running half marathons. I'd run a marathon right before the pandemic, the LA Marathon. And I started running half marathons. I started listening to this dude, David Goggins. He was just really hardcore. Yeah, Goggins shit was just like, that's like my hardcore stuff for my recovery, where I'm like, you're a man, clank the metal, like nothing else matters except being hardcore. All this, fluffy dovey love shit, or, is just a privilege. You have your relationship, this is what it is, and the rest is up to you. All your insecurities will go away through the pain. So I started running half marathons every week for 8 weeks in a row.
Did it work?
Yes, it did. And I took that to the street performing. And the street performing, I'm like, okay, now I'm going to rap outside every Knicks game until they let me inside the Knicks game, right? And one of those games became, it was a rainstorm. I was with my girl, and she's Fat Joe came out, and she was filming, and Fat Joe was rapping with me. And
hold up, but how does that even happen?
Just me rapping outside the Knicks game.
So you're rapping
my commitment. It was like my commitment.
And you had like
my meeting.
That was you made coffee and you rap outside the Knicks game. You have a beat playing on a speaker. You have a mic, and Fat Joe sees you.
Yes, and he just comes up to me. He's like, "All right, let me rock. Give me the mic."
Really?
Yeah.
And then so what was that?
Tips me a 20.
A 20?
Yeah.
Fat Joe fucking is a Katz's guy. He's a Katz's all the time.
He loves Katz's.
And I had made the Dopey hats. You know what I mean? And he was there that day. He's like, yo, let me get a Dopey hat, So I gave him a Dopey hat. And,
really?
Yeah. And Rich the player, his fucking guy.
Oh, Rich the man.
He's like, I'll put him on Dopey. So for months, I'm texting with Rich the player because I want to hear the Joey Crack story. You know what I mean? But he never came on. Never. He responds every once in a while, but not even close. But he needed a hat for him, Rich the player, and some dude they were with. Why did they need Dopey hats? I have no idea. I was so cheap at the time. I didn't want to give it to him. But I love the picture of Fat Joe with the Dopey hat.
That's that's more iconic than any of your financial insecurities.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what
Fat Joe raps
then?
with me. That video is my most viral moment of life.
I haven't even seen it. I got to see it.
Yeah, that was the one that really kind of set everything off.
And he didn't know your story. He didn't know about RZA or Macklemore.
No, he doesn't know any of my history.
You're
really.
like, I used to rap with Cool G Rap at the Wu Mansion.
Nah, but okay, so that happens. A video goes viral. 4 days later, Maxim magazine has having a party with Fat Joe at it, right for Halloween, and I saw that. And I'm like on a hot streak. I'm like rapping outside, rolling loud. Now I'm like rapping in the rainstorm, in the snow. I think I jumped. I forgot to tell you when my first viral video was in rapping in extreme weather in a blizzard.
Okay. I saw that one.
The menorah. Yeah. So that one, that was like, oh, okay, now I know how to go viral. I need to do crazy shit rapping places. Right. And ultimately, this is my New York story. Rap there. Then like, okay, then I started doing some stuff with Nico. Then I started doing stuff with What is New York with with Moses and the Pharaoh. Now we're like, okay, now we're kind of in a thing. And now other people outside New York City are seeing all the New York shit. And I'm getting booked. So like now the world's coming back out. I play Bottle Rock Festival with like Run the Jewels and Pink and Metallica and Guns N' Roses. I play like this goes on and on and on. When the Fat Joe video hit in 2021 of October, so this is like a year and a half ago, this video it led to a viral video with a song. I had a Hanukkah song. Gary Vaynerchuk made an appearance in it, also outside our next game. And that song, hundreds of thousands, me and a black Orthodox Jewish rapper from Seattle named Nassim Black, who lives in Jerusalem now. So this video goes, now I have a viral video and a viral song. And then I get the audition.
What was the song called?
Hanukkah 2.0.
Okay.
The Hanukkah song. It's kind of like an ode to Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
That was sort of like the beginning inspiration.
You got to come rap at Katz's, I think. We got to make that happen.
I mean, that's on you. They have the comedy show there, which I've done.
What, over?
Oh, comedy UO I've done.
Oh, you've done it with them?
I did it, yeah, like right when I got back from, and I didn't really know how to do comedy, but I did it right when I got back from Wild 'N Out. But Wild 'N Out, I got the audition in January after the viral song. I got booked for festival, like all this shit was happening. I did this submission like the last day. They were like said they couldn't do it anymore. And from there, I got the call to come down to Atlanta for 4 days where we auditioned. And, they made a whole documentary. You guys could watch it. It's called The Road to Wild 'N Out. season 18. There's like 15 of us on there, and like 6 of us get on, or 20 of us and 6 of us get on maybe. And there's some great people on there.
That wasn't the season Nems was on? Were you on with them?
No. Yes. So Nems, I get on, and Nems is celebrity. Bing Bong is hitting right when I did the thing with Fat Joe. Bing Bong was just starting. Yeah. And I've known Nems before he got clean. So they booked him for the Bing Bong, and he played the song live, and I like knew all the words, and I didn't even tell anyone because I did not believe it was like loose lips sing ships. I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, bro, I was a fucking crackhead. Like, how am I gonna get Wild and Out? This is insane. I can't believe it. It's mad emotional because I have so much of this self-doubt, and now I'm about to be the man. And when I'm the man because I'm getting a Wild and Out, but once I get there, I'm not gonna be the man anymore. I'm just gonna be the new guy. So, you know what I mean? So there's so many levels to what you're doing.
You're doing great until in your head it flips.
And, yeah, exactly. So like everybody's doing great until they're at the next level with all the people who are really doing great.
Right.
So
that's funny.
I get there.
It's really interesting. That's how life is.
And like my first episode, first one, people don't even know I rap there. Like only the people that came on from the first season, and we're not even each on all the same episodes. So you kind of it's like a baseball team, right? Like not every pitcher pitches every game. You know what I'm saying? So you get out there and the rap battle. I'm like shh, cutting people up, and Nems is like, this is great because we're like, yo, people don't know that he's there because he's just coming down and doing it because it's not on TV till later, and then I'm there, and people in New York don't know I'm on Wild and Out. I'm not posting nothing for like weeks, and then I'm just gonna post something with Nick Cannon. It sort of fucking blew up, and people are like, "Holy shit, where the hell have you been?" And that's it. That's how I got on, and then I just did 2 more seasons. So season 19 and 20 are coming out. So I have 20 episodes under my belt right now that I've recorded, and that's just since last year. It's not even been a full year since that.
You like it?
Love it.
Before you got sober, was being Jewish that important to you?
No. I mean, I just like to be like the Israeli tough guy kind of thing,
Right. And when you got sober, did higher power stuff connect to you being Jewish?
Yeah, and it's just growing now. Like I'm really into mindfulness right now and trying to like really step up meditation and
through Judaism?
No, just just everything encompassed.
I'm very interested in spirituality, and I even went to see a rabbi who actually I went to elementary school with to talk about connecting actual spirituality with Judaism, and I couldn't. He didn't help me. I couldn't do it. Like, do you have any connectedness between Judaism and your spirituality or your program?
Yeah, I think, just like a Shabbat dinner when I'm like not eating all day, and then I go and I literally you're cleaning your hands before you drink. I drink grape juice, right? Other people will have wine, and then you clean your hands and you don't talk, and you do the Al Netilat Yadayim blessing, which is basically you're doing this blessing and you're cleaning everything before you're taking a piece of bread, right? You're breaking some bread, and it's just this conscious food to mind to body experience. And you're sitting and having a meal, or then you go into prayers with other groups, and sometimes you're like, I don't know what the fuck anyone's saying, but there's familiarity in tone and tonality and language, and to me, sometimes it's nice to be in groups, just like you're at a group at a meeting, you're at this other group, and there's a lot of other people, they're praying, and they're maybe they're redundant, but this time you're slowing it down, you're trying to hear every word differently.
Get connected to it.
Yeah, you're trying to connect, and trying to connect is a connection in itself. It's just not fun to go to the gym the first day and you're like, all right, here we are, New Year, you know what I mean? But
you got to get into it.
You got to get into it. You got to take time. Yeah, like everyone's like, oh, isn't rapping hard? Yeah, rapping's hard. But when you rap for over 20 years, I mean, you can make some really fun songs.
It's like your 10,000 hours kind of thing.
You got to do it for 10,000 hours. And that's why, like, where Fat Joe and rapped with me, CeeLo came and rapped with me. Jada Kiss came there, And I never got to say, hey, Jada Kiss, by the way, like over 20 years ago, cut coke to your music. And, you seem like a swell guy right now, you know. But
how often does your recovery or your ability to help addicts intersect with your rap?
I started just mentioning that I'm in recovery more now.
I didn't know you were in recovery. Jacqueline just told me. Like I've been following you for a while since I met
amazing.
Nico, and then she was like, "Oh, I met this Jewish rapper," and I was like, "Is it Coach Adele's?" And she's like, "How'd you know?" And I was like, "I just had a feeling." You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I need more spirituality. Like I woke up today, I didn't meditate. You know what I mean? I came here, but like meditation sometimes for me is like shaving. It's like, oh, you haven't shaved. Like just get bound to the basics of you got to.
When you meditate, how long do you meditate for?
I mean, my group meeting every Wednesday does 15 minutes.
Where do you go? In Brooklyn?
Yeah, it's in Brooklyn. Yeah. I'll let you know about it. Yeah, come and visit.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
If someone message me, I'll invite you guys personally. But like sometimes for me, like shaving my head or then, grooming, brushing my teeth, flossing, like even like, oh, I haven't flossed in 5 days. My gums are bleeding now. Let me gush this. Let me get out these toxins. Like, right. I'm like, mentally thinking, okay, how do I get all this stuff out of me? I love running for me is very therapeutic because it makes me feel, okay, I'm getting this sweat out of me, this toxic thoughts, these negative patterns that I continuously.
Well, everything goes out of your head, right?
Yeah. So for me, running long distances is really great. And now I want to get into ultras. I'm like, ultra marathon, ultra meditation. How do I do that?
More addict shit, right?
But I mean, it's really, really great.
If you insert the solution, then, the solution happens.
And I think it's like, it's so crazy. Like in relationships, you're like, if something isn't working, don't force it, right? And what we tried to do as an addict, it was like, okay, I'm going to redo it like this. I'm going to redo it like this. And you're like, no, you need to stop, take a look, and then like surrender, right? Surrender it and then be supportive of whatever the next decision is. And if that means going this way, that way. And I'm just like trying to use it. I was out of meetings during COVID. Yeah, I wasn't on my phone. And now I'm like, I need commitments. I need the basic shit. I'm going back to basics because like, any of my outside thoughts probably come from outside substances. The only outside substance I have now is Instagram, which is comparison to everyone else who has more followers, who's doing more stuff. I get jealous of so many people on tour selling all these tickets. And I said, you know what they did? They sat home and they did the work. They made the songs. They cultivated a community. You know what I mean? They built it and then they created a tribe and now they go places and everyone comes to see them. So what we wanted to do when we first got here was like, oh, how do you have 18 years and 7 months clean? And I remember looking at everyone else and like, nah, dude, that's bullshit. You know what I mean? It's like, how do I latch onto their success? And that's the thing.
Explain what you mean a little more there.
I'm very much at like building my own castle. You know what I'm saying? My own army now with my team, for my career-wise stuff. Like a lot of times I was like, how do I get on this Instagram page, or how do we make something to get on that page, or this person shares it, then I'm doing good. It confirms me. But It's like, you don't need to do that anymore, dude. Like now you have your own thing. You could build your own army and then you could go out to the world. And I was always like, and I'm just comparing it to Recovery's Recovery Podcast. I'm like, how can I open up for Wu-Tang? How can I open up for this person? How can I show up and jump on their thing, right? And that's like when I went to recovery, I'm like, how can I, dope fiend this system? How can I skip to the back of the book without reading the pages and doing the work? It's like, you're never going to achieve the full freedom
without doing all the work.
You're not going to have the 1 million followers.
And nothing's going to happen if you don't just show up. That's like the ultimate Karate Kid thing with all of it.
Yeah,
as long as you constantly fucking show up, shit happens. Like when we were talking in the first place and I was talking about jealousy, like my petty jealousy or somebody not responding or whatever. I have a beautiful following. Like I love, like we have a nice audience. Like people like the show, like, oh, we just broke 9 million downloads.
That's crazy.
It's fucking beautiful. But yet I'm still like.
But you don't have 10 million.
No.
Loser.
Fuck. You know what I mean? It's not, but it's like Joe Rogan gets like 12 million a month or something. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's like, it's all relative. It's fucked up because on one hand, striving, you want to get to the next place. And it's also for the love of it. You love what you do. I love what I do. But there's also some kind of way to practice like acceptance how things are, and it's good enough and it's good, but then it's a double-edged sword, wanting more and pursuing more.
It's a double-edged sword. I would say touring for like, I'm all about like building my relationships and my fort, being in I was in a relationship for like a really long time, you know, and it's just running around rampant, but like not growing. I'm like, how do you grow? Like, how do you grow sometimes? Sometimes you got to stay, you know, your home group, right? You go every week and you're like, what do I do? I'm like, I get cookies at this spot. I buy munchkins for this one place I go to.
Right.
And that's like what I do. It's like, and I share about munchkins at this thing. And it's like, you're like, bro, you're so deep and you have stories. And you're like, that. It's not about that. It's just about being a rock. Right. And a rock is like, oh, what do we know about a rock? A rock's just always there.
And it's always a rock.
It's always a rock. Yes. So when you build it and then you're like, okay, now you got other rocks showing up behind you, and the rocks are always going to be there, right? The rocks don't just disintegrate. And that's sort of what I'm trying to build now with my music and things. And I'm starting to do stand-up comedy. That's like a whole new shit. I'm like, oh my God, it's back to the basics, open mics and writing things that aren't working and maybe getting booed again. And, you know, music's sort of easy for me, right? But,
so why are you doing the comedy?
Because I want to do it.
All right, good for you, man.
I want to do it. And it's like, I want to do, you know, recovery too. I want to get the urge I had for recovery when I was with my friend up for over, you know, 28 hours on blow. I'm like, I got to go back to those meetings. You know what I mean? I got to do this. I need to do it or else I'm going to get arrested, or like, you know, I want to get that feeling back, you know, about something. And you gotta.
Are you losing it around hip hop or no?
I'm not losing it around hip hop, because right now I'm like, okay, now I'm reinvesting in myself. I'm just spending money on studio time. I'm creating the atmosphere and the ambiance, you know, the sage and the candles, right? I'm like, we're going to pay for studio time. I got mics in my house. You got the mic here. You could do it here. Yeah, but it's not the right thing. Like, you can't go to rehab in your parents' house. You know what I'm saying? You need to go to the rehab. No, it's not effective. You know what I mean?
No, I think that's cool. I think that makes a lot of sense. I also think it makes a lot of sense for you to do stand-up comedy because
I'm on Wild and Out.
You're on Wild and Out.
And now I have TV credits, so
and
now
you're
I can
funny,
do it. Yeah.
And you fucking have a whole thing. And like, we get older, it's harder to be like hip-hop, and it's like you can be...
Yeah, you can't do like... I mean, I'll do the trap stuff for like 21-year-olds and stuff like that. It's like, whatever. I mean, I'm just like... Yeah, it's fun.
How did you feel about this very long conversation? You feel good?
Splendid.
Rami, thank you.
Thanks, man.
All right,
it's a pleasure. Should I plug any of my things for people to
plug
find
everything?
Okay, perfect. Well, it's Kosha Dills on the internet. KOSHADILLZ. The website's koshadillsworld.com. I'd appreciate if you guys dig into my music. It's on Spotify. It's the best way to follow. YouTube. I post a lot of the rapping clips. On my YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, everything is KOSHADILLZ. Kosha Dills, we out.
Thank you very much. It was awesome. That was Kosha Dills. I loved having him on the show. Soon after that, he was rapping in front of cats dressed as a pickle. Send in your thoughts to dopeypodcast@gmail.com. As we gear up to this Knicks game tonight, it's going to start in like an hour, I decided I wanted to go back to Jersey Jerry and have him tell the story that he told me when I was on his show. So check out Friend of Jerry podcast, and here is Jersey Jerry. All right, so we're on the phone with Friend of Jerry, Barstool Sports host Jerry. How are you, Jersey Jerry?
What's up, Dave? Nothing much. Just waiting for the train on this beautiful day. Beautiful day.
And I know that you have a penchant for wearing fragrances. Are you wearing a fragrance right now? Fragrance Jerry. Jerry fragrance.
Yeah.
What?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. It's called Baccarat 540.
Baccarat 540. And how would you describe this scent?
Sweet, sexy, sex.
Okay. The Baccarat sex scent on Jerry Fragrance right now. This is awesome. And this week, I got to go on the Friend of Jerry podcast, which was a thrill. It's always a thrill to be on with my friend, Jersey Jerry. And he told me something that I just needed you guys to hear.
So pretty much what happened was last year, about a year and a half ago, I reached out to Chet Hanks.
Chet Hanks is Tom Hanks's rappy son, right?
Correct. But he was like in sobriety, you know? So I reached out to him and I was like, hey, what's up? Fucking, I'd love for you to come on the show, the podcast. I think you'd be a great fit and whatnot. Here's where I work. and he didn't answer for, I want to say, over a year. I think it was like a year and a half, Dave. and then the guy finally answers, and he's got the nerve to say, hey, no problem, I'll come on, but do you have a budget? So me, being the ball buster I am, I'm like, oh yeah, I got a budget. How does $10K sound? And a round trip flight to New York City and back. And he's like, you come correct. Perfect. He kept on saying, like, hey, is this for real? Sending me question marks. I was never giving the guy $10K, ever.
Let me ask you this, Jerry. Is there a guest that you would, what's the most you would pay for a guest, and who would that guest be? Who's the ultimate Jersey Jerry dream guest?
Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice from the Howard Stern Show?
Yes.
How much would you pay?
$5
grand for Beat?
I think I would.
Would you have him sing the song? Would you have him sing the song?
Oh yeah.
You want to sing the song right now?
I don't.
I kind of do. Because it's Beetle and as bad as can. You know he's the best. All right, why Beetlejuice?
I think he's really interesting, very entertaining.
I think he's sober, too. I think he's actually sober.
I'm not sure. I mean, maybe. I mean, that'd be great.
So Beetlejuice would get $5K. Is there another person on the tip? Just let's think ultimate Jersey Jerry guests, friend of Jerry guests.
I think he'd be the only one, if I'm being completely honest.
So you wouldn't pay for, I don't know, who's a great sports figure drug addict? You've had Darryl Strawberry, right?
Yeah, I've had him.
He's not that interested in coming on Dopey, I have to say.
Really?
Yeah, he said I curse too much in the show.
I wonder why.
He said I use too much profanity on the show.
Oh, that's probably why. Yeah, he's very church going.
Yes.
He's a really nice guy though.
So who are the greatest drug addicts in around the world of sports? You got Darryl, you got Doc, you got Lamar Odom.
Yeah, in the NFL today, he's like one of the best defensive players, Max Crosby. He's a big one. He's going to be he's already really, really good, but he's going to be great one day.
He's in recovery?
Lawrence Taylor.
Oh, LT.
Lawrence Taylor. Yeah, it's a big one.
Yeah, LT would be an amazing guest. He is an amazing. Have you heard him talk about shopping bags full of cocaine and money and all that stuff?
No, I haven't. No,
he'd be a good guest.
Yeah, he would.
What is coming up? I heard you're moving to Chicago. What should the Dopey Nation know? What's going on with Friend of Jared?
No, we're going to still do it. We still do our Zoom every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Show will still go on. Might have a couple members maybe run the show for not the actual podcast, but the Zoom for like a week or two if I'm busy moving and whatnot. But everything will stay the same, pretty much. Nothing changed, but besides an address for me.
You gonna find meetings in Chicago?
Yeah. I've looked some up already where I want to stay. There's a couple different ones that I can head to after work or before work, or there's some good ones on the weekend I've read about. So I'm excited. It's a good change of scenery.
It's a great adventure, and you bring your son and your girl.
Oh yeah.
Is she excited? Is your wife excited?
Yeah. Everybody is really.
All right, well, good deal. Chet, I think I'm going to offer Chet Hanks $1,500 and a bus ticket and see what he says.
Yeah, you should lowball him first.
Well, I'm not. I told you the story with Lilo Brancato, and and we talked about the Lenny Dykstra debacle, and that's the reason to listen to Friend of Jerry, because he gets an exclusive Lenny Dykstra story that I did never tell.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That I've never told on Dopey. So check that out. What do you do? First of all, the Knicks won. The series is almost fucking tied at 3 apiece. What do you think? Can the Knicks win on Friday?
No, they're going to get blown out Friday.
You say they're going to get blown out on Friday?
Yeah, probably by 20.
Oh, God, Jerry. You don't sound like a Knicks fan.
I'm not.
Who do you like Who do you like in the playoffs?
I don't know. I like the Nuggets. I'm all over the place. One day I like this team, one day I like the other. But it's a mess.
But you never like the Knicks.
No, I never did.
Well, they don't call you Jersey Jerry because you're from Manhattan. That's for sure.
Exactly.
What other sports things? Talk to us. Give the sports community and Dopey a little taste of where is your radar right now in the world of sports.
Well, tonight the NFL schedule releases, so that'll be big. Get to see the whole schedule for the whole year, where everybody's playing at, who's going up against, what kind of matchups there are, what games are on Christmas, Thanksgiving. So that's really where I'm at today. Drops at 8 o'clock tonight.
Let me ask you this. You're sober 7.5 years, almost 8 years.
Yep.
If you were to relapse, what do you think the first drug you'd go to would be?
Marijuana.
How often are you around weed nowadays?
Every day, I'd say.
You're around people smoking?
Well, I mean, in New York, everybody smokes on the street,
Yup. Do you ever feel any bit of temptation whatsoever?
Zero. None.
All right.
Nothing. Yeah.
Listen, Jersey Jerry Fragrance, I love you. I appreciate the Chet
Love
Hanks
you,
story.
buddy.
Have a safe travels. We'll talk soon.
You too, Dave. Later, buddy.
Later. I love having Jersey Jerry on the show. I love that me and Jerry pop on each other's shows. We're like colleagues. I like that. How many of you guys miss Ray Brown being on the show? I know I miss Ray Brown being on the show. Ray was traveling the country, and then he came home, and I got stuck here. Then he went out upstate, but we'll get Ray back sooner or later. And when he was in New Orleans, he sat down with a Dopey Nation member and did a little recording. So here is Ray with Eddie B in New Orleans. We're going to call this On the Road with Ray.
Hello, I'm here with Eddie B. We're in a park in New Orleans. Welcome.
In the French Quarter.
Yeah. Hey, Eddie.
Dopey Nation.
Eddie took me to his record pressing plant.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And along the way, he told me some stories about his crazy life in addiction and some of the wild stories. I don't know if he'll repeat all of them, but some of them.
I've got a pretty good one that I can tell. This one involves my buddy Mark, who I'm not going to say his last name because,
Because he's still alive.
Yeah, he's still around, and he's doing really well. But back in 2006, the year after Katrina, I was working at a place out by the airport where we printed T-shirts,
Yeah.
And my friend Mark calls me up one day, and he's like, I'm coming to New Orleans, and I was like, great. And I tell him, I'm like, well, I'm not going to be home, but you can come to this shop. This is where I work. And he gets there, and he comes in, and he's smashed.
Yeah.
And he needs cab money immediately,
yeah,
like
of course.
from the airport.
Right. The cab is there.
Yeah. So I go out, I pay his cab money.
That's the introduction to what's about to happen.
That's like, oh, great.
So he has no money for drugs either.
Nothing. He shows up, and he has like a duffel bag with some clothes and like blow.
Right.
Like probably a half a gram.
The essentials.
Left. Yeah. And so anyway, I get done working, and we go out to see my friend's band. And before the band even starts, Mark gets thrown out of the bar he was going to go outside to smoke, and he turned his head and he walked into the door jam and like almost knocked himself out.
And they're like,
and then
let's
the
get this
bouncer
guy
was like,
out.
This guy's out of here. It's too early for this. So I lose track of him. I have no idea. I sit, watch the rest of the show from the band. I go home, wake up the next morning. My phone is back when I had a little flip phone. At like 6 a.m. is ringing, and it's Mark, and he needs me to rescue him. He's in the French Quarter, and I don't know where he's been all night. But
he doesn't know where
he doesn't know. No, so I wake up, I drag myself down to Decatur Street where he's at, and he's just in his basketball shorts and his tank top, but just smashed out of his gourd and can barely talk. And he's like, I need to take a shit. So I take him to a bar called Checkpoint Charlie. The bars are 24 hours here.
Yeah.
So he goes in and he looks at the bathroom and he thinks it's too disgusting and he can't shit there.
Yeah.
You know, and there's nobody around, but there's no door on the stall. And he's like, I can't shit when there's no door on the stall. And I was like, there's nobody here, and he still can't do it. So he's like, we got to find somewhere else. So we're walking around at 7 in the morning, and Checkpoint Charlie's a 24-hour place. Not many other places are open at 7 in the morning in the French Quarter. And I'm like, he's asking me where I gotta go now, and then he just like shits himself like on St. Anne Street, and like he moved he had basketball shorts on, and it was so liquid that he like moved the shorts and it just like fell straight down, and he really didn't make much of a mess.
Eddie is reenacting this for me.
So there's like he's got this puddle, and his shorts they're still not good, you know. So a friend of mine named John, that I knew from when I worked on tours, he has a little like rock and roll store on Decatur Street where he sells like spiked wristbands and you know, Iron Maiden t-shirts and stuff like that. He was just opening up his store, so I got to go in there at like 7:15 in the morning and ask John, hey, can my friend use your changing room? And then I have to buy clothes off of John before this thing.
Iron Maiden t-shirts.
Yeah, he's got all this metal gear on him.
Anyhow, spiked wristband.
We finally, and that's the story of Mark shitting himself at 7 in the morning on St. Anne Street.
That's the worst.
I had to pull it, you know, you get that like junky resource.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, I can figure this out. I'll get Mark some clothes.
Right. And you were telling me you lived in a treehouse in
that was in Key West.
In Key West?
Yeah, in a park very much like this. I just hauled a piece of plywood like in a tree just like that up in those branches, and I just sleep up there.
Wow, yeah, you traveled all over.
Yeah, I've been all
like
over
selling
the place,
all kind of things, including drugs. And for tourists,
I had a legit business, and at the same I would supplement my business with my illegit business, you know.
And you told me you sold some fake ecstasy to a band we won't name.
Boy band.
A boy
one of
band.
The big boy bands, like from Florida.
And it was what, Tylenol?
It was Tylenol PM with the logo rubbed off.
$20 a pill.
Yeah, $20 a pill. I got $300 from them. Yeah, from that guy in a hotel in Key West. Yeah.
Well, it's been a pleasure hanging out with you for the 2 days.
Yeah, a couple days hanging out with Ray.
Hopefully this will go on the Dopey Show.
Excellent. Stay strong, Dopey Nation. Toodles.
That's roving reporter Ray Brown coming at you. Very impressive. And I want to know who the boy band was. I'm going to say it was NSYNC or the Backstreet Boys. But that's a story that I would like to hear more of. Eddie, thank you. Ray, I love the Ray roving reporter. It's funny because Ray and I recorded a bit post Kosha Dills, and like something went wrong. I think we used a different episode, and that became the Patreon. So if you want to hear Ray talking about getting turned on by the idea of pistol whipping Kosha Dills, sign up for Patreon. And Ray, as always, you know, comes correct. Ray always comes correct. And we're going to finish the show with a super rare and lengthy appearance by my significant other, Linda. So I'm just going to play it. Here's me and Lynn, and thank you.
Dopey Dopey, Dopey Dope, Dopey Dopey Dopey, Dopey Dopey Dope, Dopey Dopey Dopey, Dopey Dopey Dopey.
All right, I know you guys have been waiting to hear from Linda for a long time, and now because she's trapped in her bed, she's back on the show. Welcome back to the show.
Hi, everyone.
Have you missed making the show?
No.
And do you want to give the Dopey Nation an update on what's going on with you? When last we heard from you, it was in the Johnny Jukebox debacle.
Yeah. Glad that's over with.
So Linda is laid up in her bed. Why don't you give the Dopey Nation an update on your health?
I mean, I don't know how
mental and physical
exciting this is, but I had a mark removed. It turned out to be the beginning stages of melanoma. It was on my foot. It was literally the size of a pencil dot.
Tell them how you found it.
Well, I'm doing like the PSA to everybody to go get your annual dermatological full body checkup.
I only think I got one in my life.
I know. Everybody I'm telling this story to is I watch them having like anxiety attacks because people just don't do that. They're busy doing other shit. And
so you're saying that everybody should be getting a dermatologist? Why don't you tell me to get it?
Well, so what most people do is they get a really scary mole, and they think they have cancer, and they like run to the dermatologist. And,
I got this. You see, I got a new mole here.
And most of the time, the mole, like, you know, and then you start Googling, like, what does melanoma look like? And they're like, it's irregular, like it's not a circle, and it changes, it's different shades of brown. And so, but then you find 10 that look like that, and, you know, whatever. So most people don't go to the dermatologist until they have something that looks scary. But what you're supposed to do is go every year, and then you get completely naked, and they look in every nook and cranny and crevice of your body, like in between your legs.
Is your dermatologist a man or a woman?
It's a handsome
It
man.
is? It is?
No, it's a woman. My gynecologist is a man, so there you go.
I've seen your gynecologist.
Right. So, but anyway, they look in between your toes, your fingers, behind your ear. I mean, they give you a thorough exam. And I have all these weird brown spots, and I thought she was going to find problems every place she didn't. And just as she's about to leave the office, she sees this teeny tiny speck the size of a pencil dot on the side of my foot. And she goes, "Ooh, I don't like that." And I'm like, "Wait, what? That?" And she goes, "How long have you had that?" And I said, "I have no idea." And she goes, "We need to take that out immediately." So she ran in, scooped it out with looked like a nice little ice cream scoop, sent it in, and I was on my way.
How painful was the initial scoop?
It was very fast. It hurt because it's a very painful spot on the side of your foot. It's all nerves. So it was painful. And I'm like, okay, bye. Forgot about it. Didn't think twice. And then, you know, a week later, I get a call from like the head of the dermatology department, and she's like, "We are very concerned. It's the beginning stages of melanoma. You have to go in for surgery. But they need to take out a quarter size of your foot and send it in, and blah, blah, blah." So I had that done a week ago. They took out, it's about the size of a quarter. They sent it in, and then they pack it with cotton, and they wrap it up, and you have to stay off it because they need to make sure you don't need more taken out. And I'm sure listeners have had this done. It's like when I have told people the story, they're like, "Oh, I had that done on my back or my leg," or your friend Devin had it on his finger. I mean, it's not uncommon to have this procedure done, but the location was so bad because there's no skin, so they can't stitch it back up.
So, and we were very worried about it, and I was scheduled to go to New Orleans, and it's serious surgery.
It's serious surgery. I mean, it's, you know, people have had much worse surgery, but so they took out the quarter size chunk. I got the call yesterday that it was fine. So it didn't spread, or it wasn't melanoma.
See, I thought it was much worse than it was, this whole process.
Well, it's all preventative, right? And so if they took a piece out and saw that it had started to spread like into my foot, then it's like, oh shit. And then but then, you know, we know people who have had it done 3, 4, 5 times, and then they're okay. You know, it's not like a death sentence. But so then today I wound up going to plastic surgery because they were going to try to figure out what to do with it. And I showed it to Dave, and he almost fainted because it's a pretty...
I did not.
Gruesome.
I did not faint.
You couldn't.
I had no.
You said I can't look at it anymore.
Well, Linda fucking takes her sock off. She's like, will you look at it? And I was like, sure. Then, first of all, we get out of the dermatology office, and Linda's like giving me the rundown in the parking lot, and we're standing there. I'm like, okay, we can get in the car now. And she's like, no, you need to stand there and tell me.
Well, I had to, I had to explain everything.
But then when you take your sock off and you're like, look at that.
Then he realized.
And it's like, wow, the wound is the size of a quarter. It's like a half an inch deep.
Yeah.
It's disturbing.
It's on a bad spot,
and it's discolored. But I feel like I've had things that look like that, like they've removed moles.
When you've had abscesses.
They've removed warts, abscesses.
Using heroin.
Like I've had things that look like that, and I'm like, okay, let's cover it up, put the bed, and you're like, no, stare into it. And then you're like, can you imagine? I don't really need to.
That stuff doesn't bother me.
It doesn't bother me either, but how long do I have to look at it for?
I needed, because I wanted continued sympathy. I knew Dave was going to say, all right, put the bandage on and be done. I'm like, just really look at what I have going on. Really let it sink in.
It's in my head.
Continue the real treatment when I get home.
And why don't you
It's
explain
been a rough week.
what the week has been like here?
So the chunk came out Monday. Tuesday was my birthday, so we had birthday in bed with the dog and my mom and the kids and Dave, and they're bringing up Carvel cake, and it's chaos.
Tell
and
the Dopey Nation of all the wonderful things I got you for your
Dave
birthday.
got me lots of nice presents. He got me. I always wanted one of those. I don't know. People have this in other towns, but they have those. They're called little lending libraries that people can put in front of their house, and it can be like a little library, like take a book, give a book, and you can have one as like your own little personal library. So I always wanted one for some reason. And so Dave figured out the place to get me one of them, and my dad was a librarian, so he made a plaque dedicating.
But
it to
I
him.
built it.
He built it, but then he kind of didn't build it right.
What do you mean I didn't build it?
Because he didn't realize, because it's so heavy on the top that you need to pour cement around the base, and because we have a construction.
But that's not what
guy
happened.
Across the street, he's like, dude, you need to pour cement around it. So
that's a terrible impression.
he actually has a Greek accent.
But what happened
I do it
was
in Greek.
What happened was I order the
David.
thing. It comes, and I build it, but the thing doesn't come with the post. So I call my contractor or my sponsor.
There's a sponsor involved. Our neighbors are involved.
Well, no, but
it's like a whole big production.
But my sponsor is a contractor, and he's like, and I realized what my sponsor sounds like Tony Soprano.
He was incorrect with his advice.
We don't know that he was incorrect. He's like, I'm at Home Depot. I'll get you a post for it. And he comes with this big, gigantic mailbox post. And he's like, all right, just dig a fucking hole, dig it 2.5 feet deep.
It's not enough.
Pack it in. And he shows me how to pack it in. And I pack it in, and I get it in pretty good. And then the neighbor, who's this very nice Greek man, another contractor, because on every street in our town,
Sayville.
there's at least 3 contractors on every street. 4 cops and 3 contractors, and like no Jews and less blacks. Anyway, he goes, David, he goes, what are you doing? And I said, why don't you come and take a look? And I said, what would you do to look, Linda's going for her wound again.
Just checking.
You want to look at it again on the show?
It's starting to ooze.
No, is it?
No, continue.
And he goes, and I said, well, what would you do if you were me? And he goes, I would use concrete.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, well, do you have any? And he's like, yes, I do. And then he went and he got.
That was a good accent.
Thank you. He got a bag of concrete and he took it over. He says, dig 1 foot down and then pour in the concrete and then pour in the water until there is no dust. And I said,
wow.
I said, okay. And I'm like, I have no idea what he's talking about. So I start digging.
Okay.
And
you had me get a tape measure. So
just because I wasn't sure.
You weren't sure much a foot was, so I had to actually get a tape measure.
This was pre-surgery.
Right, but,
What,
you could have eyeballed that one. Anyway, continue.
So I dig the hole, and I'm
I think you were going to actually stick your sneaker in to see if it was a foot, but then you said your foot's too big.
Yeah, I think
and
my
more
foot.
Than a
I think
foot.
my foot's bigger than a foot.
So Dave needed a tape measure.
So Linda got the tape measure, and then I'm standing there because I'm totally fucking inept. I have no idea what I'm doing, and then the guy comes out and he goes, "Oh, how are you doing?" And I said, why don't you come back over here and take a look? Yeah. And he comes back and he does it. He basically did it for
I see the neighbor doing
it.
He
pours
which was all part of your plan.
I dope fiended him into helping me.
You did dope fiend him.
No, I listen. I needed his expertise. It's better to get it done right.
But you know what's the coolest thing?
What?
Some neighbors already put in some books.
Right.
So we're so excited. We're like, wow, the library's already like starting to get some action.
You know what I was thinking about?
So it was a cool gift.
Well, and I made a nice plaque.
He made a plaque for my dad. My dad's name was Antoine, so the Antoine Butelli. So he made the Antoine Butelli Library. We're going to put that on there, and
stain it.
So it was a very, very thoughtful birthday present.
Well, it's funny because years ago for Christmas or maybe your birthday, I bought you, among other things, a robot vacuum and a garbage can. And there's a lot of people in the Dopey Nation who never forgot about that.
The robot vacuum is sitting in the basement. Like
You resented the robot for some reason. You didn't let the robot do the work for us. She was amazing, that robot.
I mean,
it doesn't
I don't know,
matter.
Well, why don't you ever use it?
I don't know how to use it.
Me neither.
So
it was more work than it was worth.
So this year for Christmas, Linda bought me an air fryer.
Yeah, best gift ever.
Well, and I was like, what the fuck? I was like, she wants me to cook, which is basically your reaction to my garbage can robot vacuum gift. And I was like, this is such a fucking bullshit gift. And it turns out that the air fryer is the greatest thing I've ever had.
Dave just thinks he wants to do a YouTube video on how to cook
air fried gourmet. Listen,
because you think you mastered like Asian cooking in the air fryer.
I've mastered a lot.
And now every single thing, because he had to bring me all my meals in bed, had like this thick Asian goo on it.
You are an ungrateful. Tell them
I had bok choy like for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the last 3 days because he learned how to make it in the air fryer.
How about my drumsticks?
Yeah, we've had those quite a bit too.
How about the cauliflower with melted cheddar?
No, that's good.
How incredible is that?
No, you cook really well in the air fryer.
Would you? I know you don't watch YouTube videos about air frying, but don't you think I could be an amazing air frying chef on YouTube? I do.
I think there's something there for you.
You see, I don't know why you're mocking me. I think the air fryer can do anything. Last night we come home from Norris Con.
Dave puts everything. I was going to make like pizza bagels. Put it in the air fryer. I'm like, there's some things that don't go in the air fryer. He thinks everything can go in there, and there's some things that like shouldn't.
Everything could go in the air fryer. Me and Nora come home from her concert, and I'm like, "Are you hungry?" She's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay." I was like, "I had bought pizza that day."
Oh, yeah, did you put that in the air fryer?
She said, "We're putting it in the air fryer." I was like, "Yes, everything goes in the air fryer."
Everything. Yeah.
How about my Brussels sprouts?
No, listen. There's
asparagus.
It's good. You do cook really well.
Dumplings.
You cook really well in the air fryer. You definitely have a knack for it.
How about
you're really good at pushing those buttons.
The zucchini noodles.
You're really good at pushing the buttons that cook exactly what the buttons tell you. Like, there's not much you have to do though. Not
seasoning.
To be rude.
I'm seasoning.
You're seasoning.
I'm seasoning, and I'm also like
every once in a while you'll take out the tray and shake it.
Shake it.
Yeah, you're a good shaker.
I shake it good, but I've never. It's like I'm obsessed with the air fryer all day. I want.
You know why you like it? Because it's just it's easy, but it always kind of comes out like how it's supposed to. It's like a guaranteed success. There's no mystery to it, like there is with maybe like cooking in an oven.
No, I'll tell you the reason.
What's the reason? Share what
there's a
your
few
love
things.
is about.
First thing, with the air fryer, you and I've been reading like about recipes and stuff, right. So I'm putting in the right amount of seasoning, and then again you put it in at this very high temperature for this pretty short amount of time, so it's very instant like gratification. But when I cook stuff in a pan, I tend to over oil and over season, and it comes out greasy and disgusting.
And overcook.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But in the air fryer, that doesn't happen because it's a short time, high temperature. Seasoned and then it comes out. It's also crispy.
No, it's great. Listen, it's really cool, and that was my gift to you.
Are you not amazed at my level of air fryer proficiency?
I mean, listen, I don't want to burst your air fryer bubble. So I think it's really
Linda.
cool.
What do you air fry?
I prefer,
actually, Linda,
I prefer
Linda makes
traditional cooking.
She makes a really
There's
good.
something about an air fryer that kind of like.
You don't love the air
bugs
fryer?
Me out. Yeah, I don't fully understand.
What about your air fryer pork loin?
Yeah, it never came out good.
No, it did the first time. The first time it came out really good, tender, delicious.
Okay.
Now,
so that's been our week. Air fried food.
Oh, and Linda finally, and we watched Beef.
Well, I'm obsessed with the show Couples Therapy. I recommend it to everyone.
Well,
and I watched
tell
every
Dopey
single
Nation
episode.
Tell Dopey Nation about how close we almost got into couples therapy.
Oh, well, for a brief minute, because I'm obsessed with Orna. She's the most brilliant psychologist, psychotherapist who does couples therapy. And just because I would love to like hear what she has to say about us, I'm like, Dave, we should get on it because they were looking for new people. It's on Showtime for this latest series. And so I stupid in my mind, I'm like, we would never do this, but I sent in our stuff, our information, and they called and wanted to meet us. And I was like, and then I told Dave, he's like, we can't do that. So then I'm like, yeah, we can't.
Is that what I said?
And we were both kind of like, we definitely can't do this. And so we told them no thanks. But so, yeah, we were like, they liked our story. They were curious. But so that's a good show. And then I just watched Beef, which I'm sorry. It's like the best show I've ever. I really think it's one of the best shows I've ever seen in my life.
And
I just finished it 10 minutes ago, episode 10. I can't believe how good it is.
So I agree. Beef is incredible.
Holy cow.
And Linda had the exact same reaction to the younger brother on the show that I had.
Paul.
And who does Paul remind you of?
Fentanyl J.
Paul is straight Fentanyl J.
Yes, he is.
100%.
Yeah.
Except he's full Korean and Fentanyl J is half Korean.
Right.
So what did you love about Beef?
Oh boy, I love the ending. I love the beginning.
Did you like the middle?
And I like them, but I just saw the ending 15 minutes ago, so it's hard for me to kind of give a synopsis around it. But just about the two main people and like how it started off with anger, you know, and how that whole thing played out and how just their lives kind of. It reminded me a little bit of, remember that movie Crash?
Yeah, I didn't like that movie.
I know, but it kind of had that same idea.
Like randomness,
but then like all of the lives kind of intertwined. But this was just so good. You know, I don't want to like ruin it for anybody.
I want to suggest everybody watch Beef.
Watch Beef.
And then Lynn, I don't think you've been on the show since you've worked at the neighborhood house. I don't think you told the Dopey Nation, because the work you're doing is so related to Dopey and, you know, Todd's death and Chris's death and the fact that I'm an addict in recovery and addiction is all over the place. And I just thought that
my birthday was just Fentanyl Awareness Day.
Yeah, Linda's birthday was this week.
On Tuesday. But that was Fentanyl Awareness Day, too. So my group is what it is it's I work for a nonprofit, and we run support groups for people who lost loved ones to suicide and overdose. So, and we all bring everybody together to work around that trauma and that loss. What's been interesting in this group is how over the last year, obviously, in the past, this group's been around for 10 years. So in the past, overdose has been overdose. What's been happening over the last year is that almost all of the overdose losses are fentanyl. And not people taking straight fentanyl, but people taking, you know, maybe
Coke that had fentanyl or fake Xanax or something.
Right. So we definitely have our folks who are just taking fentanyl or taking heroin and knowing there's fentanyl in it. And so that's, you know, one camp. And, you know, we have, say, parents who have lost their kids who have been addicts for many, many years. So that's bringing one dynamic to the group. But we're also finding individuals coming in who lost loved ones who, you know, maybe there was a guy who, you know, has wife and kids and it works in the city and went out with a friend on a Friday for some drinks and did a bump of Coke and drops dead of fentanyl. We had a mom who came because her daughter was in an Ivy League school and had so much anxiety around her exams, and through Snapchat got Xanax and died at her desk because it was a fentanyl pill. And she thought she was getting, you know, a Xanax. So those individuals are coming into group, and their story feels different to facilitators because they're saying their loved ones were murdered. They're saying their loved ones were poisoned.
So it's not like a suicidal ideation. So
well, it's not. It feels different than somebody overdosing because they use heavy amounts of drugs all day long and know that their lives are kind of at risk by that, you know, that action, or consciously taking your life via suicide.
Well, what do you think?
So it's been really challenging as a facilitator to kind of integrate all of these loved ones together, because there are times it's veered off course with folks talking about my loved one was murdered or poisoned. It sits differently with, say, they're sitting next to a parent whose loved one took their life via whatever means, or, you know, used, you know, like you did, you know, IV drugs for many, many, many years. What we do as facilitators is try to remind everybody why we bring everybody into this group together is because everyone in this room shares a deep loss. The loss happened in a traumatic way. It was sudden and unexpected, and it leaves people essentially feeling exactly the same.
Right.
So we have to do that. We are thinking that it's probably time to start having a group that's separate for fentanyl loss, because it does feel a little bit different. But really, when it comes down to it, the loss is a loss, and the heartache is the same. And people had that person in their life that day or even that hour, and then the next day or
They're
the next
gone.
hour, they're gone. And that's going to give you the same
feeling,
emotional response.
I understand, though,
but
why.
it's a really complex group.
It makes sense to me why families who had their children or their partner or whatever actually take their life, and why they would feel uncomfortable at being in the group with somebody who, you know, took Xanax and died. You know, I understand. Like, I would have I mean, like,
There's no judgment involved. There's no, one, we actually have to like have that conversation as one of our group rules, is that you might think it's crazy that we have to have this in our contract week 1, but one of our main points is there's no comparing
Right.
loss, because as wild as that sounds, that happens.
well, with NA or AA or 12-step or whatever, they always say don't compare,
Right.
Look for similarities more than
Right.
differences, which is like, if you're going to something like your group or you're going to a 12-step meeting, the point of going is to try to heal, to try to feel better. So like, it's crazy though. And has working with these populations triggered like these losses that we've had, or the fact that, you've been around so many drug addicts, especially me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, does it trigger you in your personal stuff?
No, I've been doing this for a very long time, so I'm able to compartmentalize. I think I'm able to be really good at what I do because it does.
Because you have such a
I
language.
feel it in my heart,
Right.
and I
know it so well.
and I know it so well. But no, I'm able to keep my facilitator hat on and not like lose myself into it. But we're living in a really difficult time because suicide rates are off the charts, and fentanyl deaths are off the charts,
And overdose, right?
and overdose, and obviously people know we live in Sayville. We live in a small lily white, upper middle class, town, and on the outside you would not think anything, but because I work with this support group, we are packed with intakes. Like, our summer group is already full. We have 18 people in this group, and we're always full to capacity. And this is just from like this area. And it's, if you're not kind of working on the inside, you don't even know that this is happening.
Well, it makes me think about like what kind of work can the Dopey Foundation do?
Yeah, it's just about, I guess it's about awareness. Here's the thing. Right now, our efforts are on providing support to people who lost those loved ones. But a lot of schools don't want us to go in there because they do. Well, there's that whole bullshit idea that if you talk about suicide, it's going to give people ideas to take their life to suicide. That's just not true. When you talk to teenagers about drugs,
Like, they're scared you're telling them to take Xanax or something.
Or if you talk about suicide, if you talk about drug use, there's just thinking that
you're promoting,
and that's just going on right now about talking about like homosexuality in schools and book ban. We live in a very fucked up time where we think talking about these issues to kids or to teenagers are going to make them go and be these things or do these things. That's just not how it works. And so
it's a fear-based thing.
It's a fear-based thing, and it's ignorance, and it's right, and it's like not my kid, and all of that crap. And the truth is, like, again, right now we're harnessing in on like helping the people who lost the loved ones, but where the work and the effort and the money should go into is prevention. Like, let's work with the people who are just starting to dabble in substances or who are starting to have suicidal thoughts, and people. Let's help the people before we have to have the giant groups of loved ones who lost people. That's where I think that the time and effort and money has to go into. We have schools out here in Suffolk County who won't let us go in there because they don't want to talk about it.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying about this area. It's like when you come to my group, you might go, holy shit, it's happening. It's like, yeah, it is happening. So like, don't be afraid to talk about it in the schools. Because middle school and high school is where it starts. That's where you got to go. That you got to start it,
totally
young. And we have a middle schooler, and I know, I know a lot of friends personally who would be up in arms if they knew this was going to be a topic at school. They probably wouldn't send their kids that day.
Right.
It's wild.
Yeah, it is. And Dopey Foundation is sending out Narcan and fentanyl test strips if you need some. And we're looking for people to volunteer. So if you want to volunteer, or if you want Narcan, or if you want fentanyl test strips, send it to dopeypodcast@gmail.com. And DopeyCon 2023, also known as DopeyCon IV, because it's the 4th DopeyCon. IV. Get it? You get it? Is going to be on October 7th.
Are you going to do the IV with the needle?
Yes, definitely. Are you going to be there?
Sure.
What do you mean, sure?
I have to do the merch. I'm the merch. I'm the horrible merch salesman who gives things away for free.
Are you excited about DopeyCon?
Yes, David. I'm excited about DopeyCon.
And are you excited to be back on the show?
I am.
And
I'm laying in bed with my foot up on a pillow. I feel like a queen for a day.
And we'll see what we can air fry you for dinner.
Yeah.
And Dopey Nation, I know you've been waiting to have Linda back on the show, and finally your prayers have been answered. And thank you, Linda.
Thank you.
And sign up for Patreon because what?
I'll post it if anybody would like me to post a picture of my wound on
oh God
on Facebook.
I'm sure I'm gonna hear for that. So that's great. Do you want me to post your wound next week?
No, it's pretty gruesome.
I'll post the wound.
Maybe you can post a picture of one of your delicious air fried dishes.
I'm gonna start making videos.
Oh my
God. I
God.
think that's a thing. I want to do it.
Okay.
Me and Jay did a Patreon video where I had started doing drumsticks in the video, but we didn't wait to see how they came out.
Right.
And all right, well, this has been another really, really riveting episode of Dopey. So thank you, Linda, and stay strong. Dopey.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Oh, fucking the Knicks tonight.
Oh, good. Oh, that's another thing.
What?
Just listen. I hope they win, but it's
You
like
don't
I'm
really.
excited. I'm excited for this shit to be over.
You don't hope they
He
win.
is brutal.
You don't.
We're
hope
not
they-
allowed to talk to him.
Do you hope
It's
they
like-
win? Do you really hope they win? Do you understand that if they win, then we play again on Monday, and if they lose, then the season's over.
As long as you can just not go crazy if they lose.
Every night this week.
Really,
every night
very
this week.
difficult for our
I've
family.
missed the first half of the game, tending to you folk, you and Susan and Nora, and not being able to watch the game. And tonight, I'm going to send Susan up early, and I'm going to watch the game.
Susan likes to watch it with you.
No, she doesn't.
She does. She
No.
asks a lot of questions.
She doesn't like to watch it.
You
with
don't
me.
like Susan's questions. What's a Susan question when she's watching?
What color are the Knicks wearing? Then she
Who
asked
is
me,
that guy?
She asked me 20 times that question. And then she'll say, Daddy, what are you going to cook in the air fryer next?
Wait, who's the guy who says the funny things when the next
Clyde. But Clyde's not calling the game.
He's not.
No, because it's horrible.
He's like.
Yes.
Susan would think those were funny things he
yes,
says.
Clyde, but Susan would like
Well,
Clyde.
that's too bad. Why isn't he doing it?
Because once you're in the second round of the playoffs, all the games are on TNT or an ABC, and they're not on Madison Square Garden.
That's a
Network.
shame.
It's bullshit.
Yeah,
It's
he's
fucking
pretty.
horrible.
He's pretty special.
Very special.
Yeah.
Like you, Lynn. You're very special.
I
too.
really relate to him because we're both so special.
You like Clyde?
I love him.
All right.
How can you not like him?
All right, Dopey Nation. I
think you should end this segment with something that Clyde would say.
Clyde would say, he would say, the court is 50 feet wide, or what would he say? He would say, that's the oh man, a good Clydeism is, spinning and winning, posting and toasting.
What would he say about your air fryer?
He would
shaking
say,
and bacon.
He'd say, I'm stupendous with the air fryer. He's ubiquitous with the Master Blaster. Clyde, all right yeah. That's not. I mean, hold on. I'm gonna look up Clydeisms. Say something interesting real fast, Lynn.
I don't. This is becoming a whole big production.
It's too bad. Clyde Frazier.
Say what is Clyde's most famous statement?
Saying. Devin wanted to write a science fiction. Oh, this is good. Devin wanted to write a story. Well, Devin wants to create something called the Auto Clyde, which is a
like
robot.
an AI?
Well,
the Clyde AI.
Not even. Just record all of Clyde's most classic things so that when he's dead, we can just play them at those moments where you need them.
Oh, yeah.
So he says...
Like that fart machine where you can push the button and it makes like a fart sound, but you can push it and get a Clyde.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to do that with Chris stuff. He says bounding and astounding, swishing and dishing, swooping and hooping, posting and toasting, feline quickness, razzle-dazzle, bulldozer finesse, herky-jerky, you have to see your man see the ball, Swiss cheese D, matador defense, slashing and dancing. I never heard him say that. Dancing and prancing, off to an auspicious beginning here tonight, hustling and bustling, huffing and stuffing, dishing and swishing, will not be denied. A provocative move. He's floundering. They have to be cohesive. Who's the culprit on that play? Oh, he's looking loosey-goosey. Out muscled, out hustled. There's a lot of them. Spinning, winning.
How do you say wrap it up?
Wheeling and dealing.
In a Clyde voice.
Thank you, Linda.
Okay.
Stay strong, Dopey Nation, and fucking toodles for Chris.
I'm gonna play this song, but only because I think it'll make me a little bit. Yeah, it's right. I'm just gonna start. No, it's right. your dashboard.
Dude, it's just really good. Like, where'd you write that? I like the lyrics. I hope they can hear it. Can they hear